and welcome back you to the LVC of Final Paper 4, Final Direct Tax Laws and International Taxation. Today I am your faculty, CA Aparna Chauhan, US faculty for the subject. And initially we will be starting with the whatever we have left over in the last class, that is chapter 2, income which not form part of total income. And after the break, then we will be moving forward to our next topic, that is chapter 3, profits and gains from business or profession. That topic I will be handing over to our expert faculty, Durgit Singh sir, who is going to come here and he will be taking you through that chapter 3. So students, whoever, first of all, as you know that when we make this session more interactive, then you also find it interesting. So those who are watching this through the portal, please requesting you to please join and through Zoom meeting so that we can make a one-to-one discussion on certain aspects. As you all know, in the last class, what we have done relating to income which not form part of total income. What we have done, I have in just give you a brief of section 10, which was there in 1961 and followed by certain clauses. Now it is there in section 11 of the new Act 2025, and that is appended with the schedules. So you all must be knowing how we are going to link this section 11 and the section 11, how we are going to read along with the schedule to schedule which are appended to the Income Tax Act 2025. So first of all, let me again ask you this question. How many schedules are there for the Income Tax Act? Fast, just through the chat. And in case we will be want to ask something, you can raise hand and you can unmute yourself. So dear students, how many schedules are there in the new Act 2025? Very simple question. Just begin with a very simple question and see that how many of you are alert. Just tell me how many schedules are there to section this Income Tax Act 2025 and how many are relevant for section 11. Are you able to write? Please write down through chat. Manoj, Ravinder, Radha, how many of you have joined? Kanaya, Kavya, Rohan. Please tell me fast. How many schedules are there in the new Act? Are you able to listen me now? Are you able to hear me? Yeah, 16 schedules. Very good, very good. So how many are relevant for section 11? How many are relevant for section 11? Section 11 to be read with schedules 2nd to 7th. So you know that for each, not only schedule 2, we have to read the section 11 along with schedules 2 to 7. What are these schedules talks about? They are basically relating to that what all incomes would be not forming part of the total income, right? And it also lists about a general category, that is schedule 2. You have seen the general category. Let's you just show that yourself again, because you should know how many schedules are there which are relevant for section 11, which are telling us that the income which should not form part of the total income. First schedule is schedule 2. Just this is schedule 2. This is, we can say this is a general category schedule. Means it specifies the incomes which are exempted in the hands of all category of persons. It is specified because the schedule starts with whatever be the income which are listing there under in that schedule would not be forming part of the total income. So, and only the conditions are specified along with that. Only conditions are specified along with that, subject to the condition specified there under. Okay. And then we have schedule 3. We have schedule 3, which is saying income not to be included in the total income of the eligible persons. Here it is saying, this schedule is saying that income, कौन सी income है which would not be included in the total income of the eligible persons. Means eligible persons means specific persons, a specific category of persons is specified in that schedule. In those persons cases only that income would be exempted, right? So then we have schedule 4. So there are 7 schedule in all, which has to be read along with that section 11. Schedule then 4th is income not to be included in the total income of non-resident. It is talking about the non-residents. It is talking about the non-residents, foreign company, and such other persons. Likewise, schedule 5, if you see, it is also relating to specific persons like investment funds, business trust, unit holders. Basically, this schedule measure all these amendments we will be discussing in NR taxation, not here. NR taxation, that is chapter 21. Likewise, investment funds, business trust, unit holders, these all category of persons we are covered under chapter 10. So not in this chapter we are going to understand what are the exemptions available to these specific categories of investment funds, business trust, and their unit holders. In the act, they are pass-through entities. Basically, these REITs, investment funds, sectation trusts, these are the pass-through entities, and exemptions are provided to them. And the certain incomes which are passed through to the unit holder, they are taxable in their own hands. So this schedule is specifically for the eligible persons, including you all understand, if the word starts with inclusive word, it means it includes. Apart from that, it's an inclusive thing, including investment funds, business trusts, and their unit holders. So we have to see what all incomes are there, listed under this schedule 5. Then we have schedule 6. It is for the persons who are in an IFSC. Earlier, in the existing act, because now this major feature, this is the highlight of the new act, that it is towards the simplification, so that even a layman can understand it. Of course, it's not possible because you need to integrate certain things. You have to understand these tables. You have to understand these schedules. You have to integrate everything. So professionals are only required like you. So students, it is schedule 6 specifically providing the listing out the incomes which are not to be included in the total income of certain eligible persons who are in IFSC. ठीक है? Then schedule 7 also again listing out certain persons in whose hands which are exempted. The entities whole and sole are exempted from the tax. Means they are certain persons who are being exempted. Like Prime Minister Nation Relief Fund is a category of persons which is exempted fully from tax, levy of the tax. So this is specified in schedule 7. Now you all know that if we have discussed, I have shown you study guidelines. Study guidelines means which are providing you the exclusions and inclusions from the syllabus. This we have introduced specifically from May 27 examination, considering the Income Tax Act 2025, because what happens now, they have now very clearly been given these exemptions in the schedules, and it is easy to take out from the syllabus for your purpose, so that you need not to rote learn certain things, because certain things requires you to rote learn. You have to memorize certain things, and that is not at all required. You can just refer the act and ultimately you can do it. And as you know that syllabus is wide, and you are going to be assessed on the entire Income Tax Act, along with its income tax rules, along with its notifications, circulars, everything. And of course, in the new act, as of now, और अभी तो इतनी जल्दी कोई rulings है भी नहीं और आएगी भी नहीं, but it is not like that. Whatever the judicial rulings that we have already discussed in the last class, whatever be the judicial rulings which were decided with reference to the Income Tax Act 1961 will continue to be relevant for the new act also, provided they are not inconsistent with the new act. Is it? Likewise, your circulars and notifications, which were there which were issued for the that Income Tax Act 1961 and not consistent with the new act, going to be relevant for the new exams. So yeah, of course, only the Income Tax Act 2025 will be assessed for you. But see, there are transitions phases are there. When we, move from the 1961 to the 2025 Act, there are transition phases. So it's not, we cannot, because in the Income Tax Act 2025 itself, at certain places, they are giving the references to the 1961 Act. For those purposes, we have to go and, we have to go and look for the certain provisions. For example, specifically if you talk about then deduction in respect of certain incomes, if you see, they have given the references to the earlier provisions of the act. They have given the references to the earlier provisions of the act. So we have to refer there, right? Likewise. And then what I now that these are the schedules. I have shown you the study guidelines, but these are study guidelines we will be releasing only after release of our study material. And hopefully you all have received the this chapter 1 and chapter 2 mails. Just raise your hands. You all have received it now. The Income Tax Act also you received. Income tax rules also you received. Very good. How many of you raised hands? Anyone left who want it? Because we will be uploading it also on our portal. It's not like that. Now we have started uploading, and I think you will be visible. The notes and everything now visible. And just lower down your hand. And in case if still someone has not received, you can just send a mail on the mail ID, or just write down here inform your mail ID. We will be sharing if you want the Income Tax Act or the rules. Right? So we are not going into depth ki what all schedules at presently. At presently, our focus here, we are going to focus on certain incomes which are not forming part of the total income and covered in this chapter, because we will be discussing the relevant provisions of the exempted provisions under the respective heads of income and under the respective chapters only. For example, I informed you NR taxation related provisions. We will be discussing NR taxation, the charitable trust, or this registered non-profit organization we say, or your investment funds, business REITs, unit holders. These all we will be discussing in the respective chapters only. Now you all know we have already started from agriculture income. This is the list is given to you that which all we are going to discuss in the respective chapters. So apart from these lists, some are being covered here. For example, agriculture income. Likewise, we have also covered certain other schedules also. For example, if you see agriculture income, we have covered here. Then we have covered your scheduled tribe related things, your this category of income, what we say, award, like that is covered here. Then subsidy board is covered. So we will be discussing gradually. So first is most important is the agriculture income. I think आप सबने ही पढ़ा होगा agriculture income at the intermediate level. What agriculture income is that? And you know that I have shown you the Income Tax Act, the first, that second schedule. First schedule, this is out, not covered in your, this thing, not covered in your schedule, study guidelines. Study guidelines, I showed you that the schedule 1, because reference in this section 11 itself is to schedule 2 to 7. If you see, I'm just showing you this Income Tax Act itself. I can show you through that also. If I open here, that I have shown you that it's giving reference to schedule 2. So schedule 1 reference is not given here because schedule 1 is related to what? Business connection conditions, right? In case of investment funds. So what happens? Eligible investment funds. This is excluded from your syllabus. Okay. And we have shown schedule 2. And we were discussing regarding schedule 2. If you go and see schedule 2 itself, it is first schedule. What is this table serial number? How we have to read? Now you should know how to read this schedules and table numbers. What do we have to do? For example, if I say this is a schedule 2, right? It's visible. I think it's visible to everyone. First serial number. How we have shown? We have already shown. If you see this chapter, whatever we have this chapter, you see now how we are writing it. Agriculture income. Schedule 2, table serial number 1. Of course, section number 11 is there, but it become a huge heading. So you can write only schedule 2, table serial number 1. In this format, you have to write now. And try to remember some of the serial numbers which are really, really relevant for you to understand the provisions. Okay. So as we discussed last time, see, there is no condition, right? For agriculture income, there is no condition. Straight away, it is being exempted. Is it so? Is it so? Just raise your hand. Write down. Is it so कि agriculture income straight away is exempted? Yes or no? Seeing the conditions which is given for everything, if you see serial number 2 is related to life insurance policies. Any sum received from life insurance policy, the conditions are prescribed. But for agricultural income, if you see, no conditions are prescribed. So agricultural income is straightforward exempt without any this thing. Yes, Kavya is saying yes. What about others? Ravinder, Radha, is it straightforward exempted? Just let me understand what you understood in the last class. Still thinking? I want a very clear answer. If somebody is going to ask you whether the agriculture income are exempted without any conditions, is it a right statement? I'm getting some answers. Why not from everyone? See, Radha is saying only agriculture income from land in India is exempt. So there are certain conditions to it. Is it? If you see, Radha, that's the main thing you try to understand. Even everyone, it is for everyone. Listen here carefully. The conditions are definitely nil. Conditions are nil. It is not subject to any conditions. Means it is straightforward exempt. ये पूरी तरीके से entirely the agriculture income would be exempted as per this schedule. Definitely, this is absolutely correct. Now, the important point here is, first of all, वो agriculture income है या नहीं है? Whether that income in the first hand classified as agriculture income or not. This is the big question. ठीक है? So, it is exempted without any conditions. But first, we have to understand the meaning, whether the income falling within the purview of agriculture income or not. तभी schedule में you are going to write. Once the income itself is not agriculture income, then you are not going to write that income. So the category of income is itself agriculture income, right? For that, we have to understand its meaning. What is agriculture income? This is important. What is an agricultural income is? Where it is this defined? Can you tell me the section? I informed you on that day. Fatafat. Now, under which section it is being defined? Ravinder is saying 10-1. रविंद्र पुराने सेक्शन से याद है, कोई बात नहीं, अभी हम नए भी याद कर लेंगे, है ना? या अर्लियर सेक्शन वाज 10-1. ऑफ कोर्स रविंद्र 1961 में है, अभी थोड़ा सा टाइम लगेगा. ऑफ कोर्स आई एम आल्सो टेकिंग सम टाइम. 10-1 में इज एग्जेम्पशन. Yes, 2-1 is for definition. So now, in this act, if you see the first clause of section 2 is accountant. So accountant, of course, we accountant as defined in the first clause. Then section clause 5 of section 2 is defining the term agricultural income. So we have to understand what agriculture income is. अगर वो agriculture income होगी तो हम उसको exempt कर देंगे. If it is not agriculture income, then it would not be exempted. Simple. अब ये simple question को हमें समझना पड़ेगा पहले. What income would be constituted as agriculture income? So if you see, section 2.5 is defining section agriculture income. What is agriculture income? 4 categories basically. Agriculture income as per section 2 subsection 5 if you see. So 2 subsection 5 is saying What four categories are being defined here? First, rent और revenue. 4 चीजें हैं, सिंपल 4 क्लासिफिकेशंस दी हुई हैं सेक्शन 25 में, उनको ही हमें थोड़ा सा समझना है. उसमें एक दो क्लासिफिकेशन इज वेरी 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 इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू for the purpose of your capital gains chapter also to understand the definition capital asset also. उस पर many times questions आ जाते हैं, वो हमें समझने की जरूरत है. So पहले rent और revenue from land. रेंट और रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम लैंड. उसके बाद आया इनकम ड्राइव्ड फ्रॉम सच लैंड. इसके बाद आया आपकी एक फोर्थ कैटेगरी, इनकम फ्रॉम फार्म बिल्डिंग. कहां से इनकम हो रही है आपकी? फार्म बिल्डिंग. अभी तक तो हम लैंड की बात कर रहे थे, अब ये कहां चले गए? फार्म बिल्डिंग में. So what is this farm building? We will understand. Then because we are talking about agriculture income, not land. We are talking about income क्या होगी. तो उन्होंने बोला first thing rent और revenue from land. कौन सी land? We will understand. Income from farm building and income from nursery. एक और उन्होंने income बताई. This is very interesting. Income from nursery. So in overall, if you see, एग्रीकल्चर इनकम को कैटेगराइज करने के लिए उन्होंने बोला ये सारी इनकम्स आपकी हम एग्रीकल्चर इनकम कर देंगे. उसके बाद उन्होंने कंडीशंस बताए. व्हाट आर दोस कंडीशन? फर्स्ट समझते हैं. रेंट और रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम लैंड, मतलब यू हैव गिवन सम लैंड टू समवन एल्स. यू आर द ओनर ऑफ दैट लैंड. ओके, यू आर द लैंडलॉर्ड ऑफ दैट लैंड एंड गिविंग इट टू सम टेनेंट. फॉर व्हाट पर्पस एंड व्हाट लैंड इट इज? दिस लैंड, फर्स्ट कंडीशन, लैंड should be situated in इंडिया में होनी चाहिए. सबसे पहली कंडीशन. ये लैंड कहाँ होनी चाहिए? द लैंड शुड बी इन इंडिया, एनीवेयर इन इंडिया, एनीवेयर. वी आर नॉट कैटेगराइजिंग एनीथिंग कि मेरी लैंड दिल्ली में हो, मेरी लैंड आगरा में हो, मेरी लैंड हो सकता है छोटे से गांव में हो, स्मॉल विलेज, ओके, आउटसाइड द पर्व्यू ऑफ म्युनिसिपैलिटी हो, एनीथिंग. ओके, सो सिचुएटेड इन इंडिया, द लैंड शुड बी सिचुएटेड इन इंडिया में होनी चाहिए. फर्स्ट कंडीशन. एंड what next? It should be used for agricultural purposes. किसके लिए यूज होनी चाहिए? Agricultural purposes. This is also one of the condition. Means मेरी land, I have one land, I have given to someone for agricultural purposes. So land should be situated in India and used for agricultural purposes. First thing, rent मिला आपको. दूसरी चीज आई इनकम ड्राइव्ड. मीन्स यू आर द ओनर, यू योरसेल्फ इज अर्निंग सम इनकम फ्रॉम दैट land, from such land. Here these words have its own relevance. Such land means ये वाली land. कौन सी land? ये वाली land, which is situated in India and which is used for agricultural purposes. Got it? This is very simple linking. Then this is important. This is something different. It is saying something different कि नहीं. अभी तक तो हम land की बात कर रहे थे. Now, if you have some farm building, ठीक है, if you have some farm building and you are earning some income from that building also, that would be classified as your agriculture income, subject to certain conditions. वहां पे उन्होंने कुछ conditions बताई कि वो what are these conditions? We will look for what are these conditions are. Then we have another category, that is income from nursery. Nursery very simple. Nursery में क्या है? Seedlings और सैपलिंग्स, मतलब पौधे वगैरह आपको सभी को पता होगा. सीडलिंग्स और सैपलिंग से यू आर अर्निंग समथिंग. इन्होंने यहाँ पे लैंड की बात नहीं करी. यहाँ पे दे आर नॉट टॉकिंग कि आपकी नर्सरी से इनकम हो. आपकी वो नर्सरी, योर नर्सरी कैन बी एनीवेयर. ठीक है, योर नर्सरी कैन बी एनीवेयर. सो वट एवर बी द इनकम यू आर अर्निंग फ्रॉम द नर्सरी, दैट वुड बी कैटेगराइज्ड एज एग्रीकल्चरल इनकम एंड वुड बी एग्जेम्प्टेड. गॉट इट? गॉट इट? यहाँ पे समझ में आया आप सबको? Very simple. 4 categories they have specified. All clear? Please raise your hand. समझ में आया? आगे बढ़ते हैं, चलो। सो इन्होंने अब क्या बोला, ये हमने पढ़ा। फर्स्ट चीज हमने पढ़ी, रेंट एंड रेवेन्यू, ऑल अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज रेंट, व्हाट इज रेवेन्यू, देन इट शुड बी सिचुएटेड इन इंडिया or used for agricultural purposes. This is we have understood. This is 25A. This is saying 25A. There are four sub clauses to this section 25. Then second is saying income derived from agricultural land से होने चाहिए, means agriculture should be carried out from that land. Income वहां से कुछ agriculture produce को sale करके, I am the owner, I have given to someone, he is giving me the rent, okay, it's fine. But if he is giving the crop also to me and I am selling it outside market after doing some ordinary process to make it marketable, in that case whatever be the income from sale of produce, whatever be the income from sale of agriculture produce also would be your agricultural income. This is important. इनकम फ्रॉम फार्म बिल्डिंग, ये क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है, बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स कंडीशंस, और ये कंडीशंस आपको समझ में आ गई, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड मेनी थिंग्स। कैसे, व्हाट आर इट्स कंडीशंस स्पेसिफिकली, इट इज सेइंग कि ये जो आपकी बिल्डिंग है, वॉट एवर द फार्म बिल्डिंग यू आर ओनिंग, एंड इट शुड इनकम ड्राइव फ्रॉम बिल्डिंग ओन्ड एंड ऑक्यूपाइड बाय द रिसीवर ऑफ रेंट, मतलब आपने उससे रेंट पे दे रखी बिल्डिंग, या फिर or cultivator is using that building for that purpose, provided that building is on in the immediate vicinity of the agricultural land, मतलब agricultural land है उसी के पास में वो building है, and you are using it for the purpose of dwelling house, farmers you are using it as a storehouse, you are using it for some purpose of agriculture purpose के लिए आप you are using that building. So whatever the income you are earning from that building, you have given to a tenant and he is using it for agriculture purposes, so whatever the income, that would be also your agricultural income. Next is, and the land is assessed to land revenue. assessed to land revenue यहाँ पे क्या बोल रहे हैं, मीन्स कुछ टैक्स लगता है, आपको पता है ना, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट डू नॉट लेवी टैक्स ऑन द एग्रीकल्चर इनकम, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स ओनली टेक दिस लोकल टैक्सेस ऑन दैट एग्रीकल्चर इनकम। क्या होता है, जब आपकी कोई लैंड होती है, इट इज इन द रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, उसको हम बोलते हैं खसरा नंबर एंड ऑल आर द टर्म्स दे यूज फॉर दोस डॉक्यूमेंट्स, इट हैज सम रिकॉर्ड्स इन द गवर्नमेंट, उस रिकॉर्ड्स के बेसिस पे it is assessed, and some very few states are still charging some of the taxes on that, and they have been recorded in the government records as a agricultural purposes के लिए use हो रही है, it is categorized as agricultural land. Okay, now it is subjected to local land. अगर वो इस तरीके से रिकॉर्ड नहीं है, if it is not so assessed, means उनके गवर्नमेंट के रिकॉर्ड्स में, लोकल गवर्नमेंट्स के रिकॉर्ड्स में, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स के रिकॉर्ड्स में नहीं है, तो ये लैंड आपकी, समझिए ध्यान से, प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड इट केयरफुली, दिस लैंड इज नॉट सिचुएटेड, ये कहां नहीं होनी चाहिए, ये वाली लैंड मतलब इमीडिएट विसिनिटी पे होगी एग्रीकल्चर लैंड की, वो जो लैंड जहां पे बिल्डिंग है आपकी, द लैंड वेयर द बिल्डिंग इज देयर, दैट लैंड शुड नॉट बी सिचुएटेड इन अर्बन एरियाज, मतलब ऐसी जगह, अर्बन एरियाज उन्होंने कैटेगरीज दी, स्पेसिफाइड अंडर सेक्शन 2 clause 22 sub clause 3 sub clause A or B, मतलब they are now taking you to the another section of the income tax act. What is this section 222 talks about? Anyone, any idea क्या होगा ये, anything, any guesses, what is this section 222 is talking about, any guesses? Section 222, you just tell me, don't go into sub clause 3A, sub clause, don't go. Yes, it is capital asset. It is providing you the definition of capital asset. ठीक है, वही definition जो पहले थी 214 में था, now it is in section 222. Okay, so यहाँ पे बोल रहे हैं कि ये जो land पे जहां पे building है, the land, okay, the land on which the building is there, it should not be situated in the areas which are specified in section 2 clause 22 में नहीं होनी चाहिए. Okay, we will understand how they are defining those areas. उस areas को बताए कि इन areas में वो land नहीं होनी चाहिए, तभी उस farm building की whatever be the income, अगर आप agriculture purpose के लिए use भी करो, if the you are using that building for agricultural purposes also, even then it would not be classified as agricultural income. समझ गए आप? बिल्डिंग के लिए उन्होंने कंडीशंस लगाई हैं. अभी तक आपको पता था अगर कोई लैंड है वो कहीं पे भी हो, एनीवेयर इन इंडिया, या if you are using a land anywhere in India for agricultural purposes, if you are using a land anywhere in India for agricultural purposes and you are deriving some income from that land for using for agriculture, that income would be agricultural income. But for the farm building के लिए भी, for the farm building also, they are saying it would be classified as your agricultural income provided certain conditions are satisfied. In that condition, one of the important condition, this is an important term. You should understand what is this important term is. It is not situated in those urban areas, right? And the building should be used for dwelling house, storehouse, or these purposes. Okay, on this we will be discussing again what are these areas are. First, you should be clear that whatever be the land, it should not the land on which the farm building is situated, should not be in those specified areas. Then that income will be classified as your agricultural income. Got it? यहां तक समझ में आया ना सबको? Clear? Kavya, I'm using some words in Hindi also because we are having all over India based students and they feel that if I use the words in Hindi, they will understand. Otherwise, whatever I am speaking in Hindi, I am explaining every word in English also. So don't worry that you are missing something. But the thing is, we have students which are based all over India. And if I use some words in Hindi, they will easily relate it, you know. So whatever you are not able to understand, please write down. I will explain it to you again in English itself, wholly in English. Otherwise, whatever I am speaking in Hindi, I am explaining in English also. So don't worry about it. You are not going to miss anything. Understand? So, income from nursery. आपको 4 categories थी. Fourth income is nursery income. इसके साथ में they have some exceptions. They are saying, otherwise these were given as your, earlier as explanations. Now these are being converted into subsections itself. This we will be discussing again, ki what are the areas where the farm building should not be situated for the purpose of classifying the income as agricultural income. This we will be understanding. This is very easy. This is related to here also. If you see what they are saying, what would not be considered as agricultural income? कौन सी चीज आपकी agricultural income नहीं मानी जाएगी? Which all things would not be considered as your agricultural income? Are income from buildings or land used for non-agricultural purposes. अगर आप, ये तो हमने पढ़ा ही था, the first category, you know that the land should be used for agricultural purposes only, right? And it should be situated in India. That would be categorized as agricultural income. Next thing is building or land if used for non-agricultural purposes, then also it would not be classified as your agricultural income. This is important. जो transfer आपको पता है, everyone should knows about the transfer, that sales transactions, whatever we are taking, the sales transactions are considered as a transfer for the purpose of charging capital gains tax, right? So income arising from transfer of urban agricultural land. क्या बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पे? What they are saying? Income arising from transfer of urban agricultural land referred to in section 2, clause 22, subclause 3, A or B would not be classified as agricultural income. मतलब sales transaction of urban agricultural land के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. They are talking about the sales transactions of urban agricultural land, not the rural agricultural land. ठीक है? That means rural agricultural land would be considered as your agricultural income. इसी तरीके से होगा ना ये. So अब हमें now we should understand what is this section 2, 22, 3, A or B. Since we are talking about, so we should understand what it is exactly. We will be discussing some other things, but first initially I will take you through this meaning. What is this? When is agricultural land treated as situated in urban areas? कब? When you are going to say कि that land is situated in urban area. आपको पता चल गया farm building के लिए, the farm building if is on a land which is situated in those areas, the income derived from that farm building would not be agricultural income. Okay, now plus the transfer of that land also would not be classified as agricultural income. Got it? So we should understand what it is. Here saying agricultural land is considered as urban if it satisfies any one of the conditions. What are these conditions? If the land is situated within municipality or cantonment, the land is within the limits of municipality के limits में है और its population is 10,000 or more. This is important. कितनी population है? It is within that municipal corporations or town and committees and that cantonment boards and all. And its population is 10,000 or more. If the population is less than 10,000, अगर 10,000 से population कम है तो क्या होगा? If the population is less than 10,000, then it is not an urban land. First condition satisfied नहीं हुई यहाँ पे, then it become your rural land, not a urban land. ठीक है? So first is municipality पे the land is located within the limits of municipality and the population in that area is 10,000 or more. Okay. Next is even if they are saying your land is outside the municipality, your land is outside that municipality, then also they are saying you that still it would be urban if it lies within the following distance. They have specified the distance along with the population also. What they are saying, if the population आपके 10,000 से ज़्यादा है, if your population is 10,000 more, but it is not within the municipality, आपकी municipality में नहीं fall कर रही है, okay? They are saying first condition यही थी, first condition की municipality में है, and then first condition is land is in first condition. What is this? Land situated within municipality plus population is 10,000 और more. तो ये क्या हो जाएगी आपकी? It become your urban land. It is your urban land. ठीक है? So any of the condition are not satisfied. If it is outside, अगर ये outside चलेगी, if this condition become outside municipality, if it is outside municipality, when this is not satisfying the first condition, it become rural land. But they say no, wait, ऐसे तो नहीं छोड़ेंगे. We will not leave you like that. कि आपने बोला कि मेरी outside municipality my land is and I should be agricultural land. No, they are saying it would be your agricultural land if what are the conditions outside municipality? If your land, suppose I have this land, एक एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं, मेरी लैंड है ये, ठीक है, outside municipality, they said outside municipality, then they are saying your population is what? Your population is, if your population is 10,000 or more but up to 1 lakh, अगर आपकी population, if the population of that municipality board is exceeding 10,000 but up to 1 lakh, in that case, if your land is situated within 2 kilometers, if your land is situated within 2 kilometers aerial distance say, then also it would be classified as urban land. Understand? Then they are saying 1 lakh and 10 lakh तक है तो 6 kilometer, उससे ज्यादा है if the population is more than 10 lakh then it is 8 kilometers. कैसे समझते हैं? क्या बोला? If your land is outside municipality, ठीक है, it has a population exceeding 10,000 up to कितना था? 1 lakh. Is it? ये कह रहे हैं कि मेरी ये जो लैंड है, your municipality is here, my municipality is here, this population of this municipality is this, and it is at the distance up to within 2 kilometers. कितने डिस्टेंस पे? My land is in within 2 kilometers outside municipality, but within 2 kilometers of the municipality who has a population of 10,000 and up to 1 lakh, then that land will be your urban land. वो land would become your urban land. Got it? समझ में आया यहाँ तक? Likewise, again if you see, then if they are saying your municipality lying here, your land यहाँ दूर में जाके, your land is at some more aerial distance. कितना? Within थोड़ा दूर में जाके 6 किलोमीटर की रेंज में. Your land is at 6 kilometers range. Or this municipality, but the population of that municipality is exceeding 1 lakh, but up to 10 lakhs. Your population is increasing. Simultaneously, they have increased their distance also. क्या benefit है? What is the benefit to the government? Why they are doing so? Of course, to expand their tax base. This is the only crux, right? If your population is higher, what happens? When a population of a municipality is higher, what happens in that case? It expanded its boundaries easily. In that, due to this expansion of these boundaries, what the government feels, it is taking all the advantages of a city, of a municipality, whatever the advantages are given to that town or the municipality board, they are taking all the benefits up to a range of 6 kilometers. Because they have a huge population and they are taking all the benefits, then why we should not classify it as agricultural land, urban land? That's why they have come out with the population category and along with the distance category also. They are saying if your land is situated, are you understanding? If your land is situated within 2 kilometers of the range of the municipality and your population is more than 10,000 but up to 1 lakh, so distance is less, it is 2 kilometers. Population increased, your distance also they are going, we will go our boundaries to 6 kilometers. Likewise, if you see, why it's not going down? Yeah. So what they are saying, if your land is here and municipality ki population, the population of municipality is exceeding 10 lakhs, above 10 lakh. Well and good. We will expand our boundaries. Up to what? Up to 8 kilometers. Magar, if your land is situated within 8 kilometers, then also it would be considered urban land. What is the benefit? You have seen it. If it is falling within that limits, agar in limits may fall karegi, then the transfer from that land would not be your agricultural income. It would fall within the definition of capital assets. आप उसको सेल करोगे, you will transfer that land, then you will, if you gain something, that would be chargeable to tax. Got it? अगर if it is 9 kilometers के distance पे या 8 kilometers से कम के distance, 8 kilometers के beyond के distance पे, it become your rural land. Rural land के case में what happens? The transfer, the capital gains. Now, if you're transferring and getting some income, that income would also be your agricultural income and would be exempted. Would be exempted. Are you getting clear हुआ? Please raise your hand if it is clear, or you need to me explain it again. Anyone? Is it clear? सबको कुछ रहते हैं. Should I explain it? Please write down. Yes. If it is beyond 8 kilometers, it would be your rural land. उस केस में what we understood, the farm building. अगर if the farm building is on such land within this range, whatever be the income you're deriving from that building also would not be your agricultural income. Two things. Got it? Is it so इसके लिए now let's understand कि whether this concept is clear with the help of this example which we have given our study itself. Answers are also given, of course. I think so. What happens in the first case? If you see, we have an area A, which is at a 1 kilometer distance within of the municipality, which is 1 kilometer distance of the municipality. 2 किलोमीटर से कम है, यहाँ तो 2 किलोमीटर से कम है, 2 किलोमीटर की रेंज में आ रही है. It would should become your urban land, but the population कितनी है इसकी? The population itself is 9,000. कितना population है? How much is the population? 9,000. So it is not, population is less than your 10,000 limits. 10,000 limits is there, because in the second case, if you see, कैसे याद करना है इसको? How we have to remember, how we have to memorize it. First condition is 10,000 and more. First condition मतलब आपकी population should be 10,000 and more, whether it is within municipality or outside municipality. No need to worry. If the population is less than 10,000, it would be your rural land. Understood this thing? Concept समझ में आया ना? 10,000, if your population is less than 10,000 without seeing any condition, the land become your agricultural land. First is, now we should note it. What is the condition? If your population is less than 10,000, we need not to bother about the distance then. Am I right? It become directly your rural land. It would become your rural land. If population is 10,000 or more, then distance matters. Are you getting? If the population is 10,000 and more, then distance matters. How? If your population is 10,000 but not exceeding 1 lakh, how much distance? यहाँ पे distance matter करेगा. बोले 2 kilometers. Up to 2 kilometers, if your land is falling, it become your urban land. Let's see this thing. Likewise, if your population, simple categories, population देखनी है, distance देखना है. 10,000 से कम is the population, there is no need for any distance. It would become your rural land. Within the municipality also, it become your rural land. If it is population is 10,000 or more and within municipality, it would become your urban land. इसको अच्छे से कैटेगराइज कर लेते हैं, so that आपको थोड़ा ध्यान रहे. You should remember it. कैसे? Land है. This concept is not useful for this agricultural income concept के लिए. It would be useful for understanding the definition of capital assets also. So of course we will be discussing this concept again while doing your capital gains chapter. But अब भी clear हो जाएगा तो आपको आगे भी आएगा. और many times questions being asked on this concept, not in the form of agricultural income but indirectly in the form of capital gains they are asking. Okay, so फिर से अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं एक बार, जस्ट जल्दी से रिवाइज करते हैं. और एनीवन वांट टू एक्सप्लेन इट, you just raise your hand. I will unmute yourself. You, anyone, if you understood it, then you can also explain. Just raise your hand. Anyone? I will write down whatever you will say. Who would like to explain? I am not it. Just a minute. Yeah, Kanaya want to explain and Radha want to explain. Kanaya, technical team, unmute Kanaya, so that we should also understand na, ki how you grab this concept. कैसे याद रखना है? You just tell me how we should remember this concept. Okay, I would like to know from you. First, Kanaya, you explain, then I will ask Radha. Yeah, Kanaya. Technical team, Sanket, please unmute Kanaya. Unmute Radha, Sanket. Technical team. Good, yeah. Radha, if you are able to unmute yourself, you explain. Why I'm not able to hear? Not able to unmute. Why they are not able to unmute? Okay. So no problem. Just bear with us. We will see what the issues are there. So just let me just clarify it. Okay. बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है. Then we have to move to the next concept also. But this is one of the most important concept. That's why I'm focusing on this. I'm emphasizing on this aspect. What it is? Land. First of all, land. Population देखेंगे सिर्फ. अभी हम population पे बात करेंगे. Your population is less than 10,000. Okay, we are talking about based on the population. यहाँ पे मैं I will write population based. If it is less than 10,000, it is rural land. A rural land, if it becomes rural land, then what happens? It is not a capital asset. Important thing. It is not a capital asset because people are taking the benefit of it. That's why government has to come out with such kind of provisions. Basically, what happens? Because when it becomes a rural land, it is not a capital asset. Plus the income derived from the farm building. Rural land, it's not a capital asset, or income from farm building, from such land is also exempted. So it is not a capital asset. So if you are transferring such land, it become your agricultural income. Benefit है, it is beneficial. ठीक है. If, and you need not to worry about whether within municipality or not. Okay. If the population is first 10,000 or more plus within municipality, it is urban. ठीक है. First urban land, second 10,000, more than 10,000, but this is less than 1 lakh, and falling within 2 kilometers distance from the municipality, within, then it become your urban land. Then third is more than 1 lakh but less than 10 lakhs. They are saying if still it is 6 kilometers distance, it would be your urban land. And then fourth is more than 10 lakh plus within 8 kilometers distance. If your population is more than, means for example, your population is 12 lakhs and it is within distance of more than 8 kilometers, it would become your rural land. Abhi, urban land, if it is a urban land, what will happen? Two things. If it become your urban land, what will happen? If it become your urban land, the transfer of that land would arise. It become your capital asset. Urban land would become your capital asset, or space, whatever be the transfer, it would be taxable. Okay. And जो farm building है, the farm building on such land income from farm building would also become taxable. Are you getting? I think ये clear हो गया आपको? We can move ahead. Give me a thumbs up. Shall we move ahead? Yes. Second condition, first within municipality, second population 10 and is written. And is written means both the conditions needs to be satisfied. means and is written, any of them, within municipality ho, then also it would be your agricultural land. It would be your rural land. Okay, within municipality, sorry, urban land. It become your urban land. Okay, okay. So now we should move ahead. These are very, very simple example. I would like to hide it. Basically, I do not want to, show it to you. So first is the example of 1.5 kilometers is the distance and 12,000 is the population. Population is exceeding 10,000, right? Population is exceeding 12,000, exceeding 10,000 and within 1.5 kilometers, whether it is urban land or not. Yes, it is urban land. It is urban land. I think this you can do it on your homework. अगर आपको कुछ समझना है, then we can discuss it in the next class. Okay? We can discuss it in the next class. Same here. The question is given, would income arising from transfer of agricultural land, if suppose you are using that land for agricultural purposes also, if you are using that land for agricultural purposes also and situated in urban area, would it be agricultural income? Would it be agricultural income? Because they are saying you are transferring that land. If you are using that land for the purpose of agriculture, if you are using that land for the purpose of agriculture and deriving the income from that agricultural operations, that income would be your agriculture income, right? So no, it would not be taxable. It would, no, as per section 2.5, capital gains arising from such transfer would not be treated as agriculture income. Okay. So suppose यहाँ पे the example is given that Bittu sells agricultural land situated in New Delhi. And he is using that land for the purpose of agriculture. Suppose he is using that land for agriculture purposes. And the cost of acquisition is 8 lakhs. So gain arising is 2 lakhs. That surplus would not constitute your agriculture income. Got it? Now we should move to our those concepts of agriculture income. I will explain this thing. You understood now? Agricultural land, if it is a rural agricultural land, if it is rural agricultural land and or urban, चाहे वो rural हो, whether it is a rural land or urban land, if the income is derived from the agricultural operations, okay, if the income is derived from the agricultural operations, the land which is situated anywhere in India, but income कहाँ से आपकी? Not from the transfer, but from the agricultural operations, then in that case, it would be fully exempt. Understand? Two things are there. Agricultural operations से income है, or income is from the transfer. You have to see whether the income is from the transfer of such land or the income is from the agricultural operations. If the income is from the agricultural operations, that is rent of the agricultural land or sale of the agricultural produce or income from the farm building also. If it is a rural agricultural land, it is fully exempt. Here, if it is urban agricultural land, the agricultural operations income would be exempted as considered as the agriculture income. And if it is from the farm building, that it would become taxable. Got it? Farm building का भी यही concept था, capital asset के भी same concept है. I think it is clear. This is all in explain in detail what constitute agriculture. You can read it. It's nothing very difficult to understand. What is the meaning of agriculture is written. What are the basic operations and subsequent operations means making the produce. For example, operations to be performed after the produce of sprouts from the land, right? Subsequent operations are being carried out. Basic operations means seedling, you have to seed the crop, and then of course you have to take out that crop, you have to remove the husk from the crop and make it sellable conditions, making it in the usable condition. It considers subsequent operations. Agriculture is not defined. Then process which you are using. A cultivator is generally use those processes. For example, you are obtaining the rice from the paddy. Is first that what do you have to do? First, you remove the hay from the basic grain. Thereafter, you will remove the chaff from the grain. Now comes to that, if we are using, this is again one of the important concepts which you understand, apportionment of income between business income and agriculture income. And this concept you will be using, understanding and, at the time of doing your tea board and whatever the income you are earning from tea boards and all. So on that, whenever you are earning from the tea, coffee or the rubbers, they are having a specific provisions. There they are providing you specific schemes are there for to govern these kinds of agriculture produce. For that purpose, we will be dealing in detail at PGBP. So, but you should understand why we are apportioning it. Why we are apportioning it into business income or the agriculture income. Why we are not wholly classifying it as a agriculture income. Like tea hua, coffee hua, rubbers hua. These are the examples. So any income from sale of any produce to the cultivator, from any sale of produce would be your agriculture income. जो आपने whatever you have cropped something, it would be your agriculture income. But if some process has been involved, to make the produce fit for the market. For example, you are selling a sugar from the sugar canes. You have produced the sugar canes. Now you are using certain processes to convert that sugar cane into the sugar forms. You have used some processes which are not ordinarily being used for taking out that produce. In that case, what happens? The sale of such produce, sugar, I'm talking about, because if you are selling the sugar cane, then it would be your agriculture income. But if you are selling the sugar in certain form, then partly of the income would be your agriculture income and partly would be your business income. Partly would be your agriculture income and partly would be your business income. For that purpose, rules are given in the income tax rules 2025, rule 270 and rule 271. Now you will be asking what are the old rules. If you are talking about rule 270, it is rule 7. It is rule 7 of the income tax rules. And there were 3 rules for this 271. आपको याद होगा ये तो सभी को that what is this rule 7A, 7B and 8. वो आपके proportions बताता था टी के लिए, कॉफी के लिए, रबर्स के लिए 35-65%, 25-75%. These are the proportions which are provided in this rule itself. So earlier it was 7A, 7B and 8 of the income tax rules 1962. Now they are income tax rules this is 2026. It should be 2026. I will correct it. Okay. So provide the basic apportionment of income between agricultural income and the business income. What they are saying? This rule 270 is saying if you are, where the income is partially agricultural income and it become partially business income. So whatever be the market value of the agricultural produce, whatever be the market value of that agricultural produce, for example, I will take that example also in the form of illustration to make you more understand this concept, is that, for example, you have sold, you have, converted some sugar canes into the form of sugar. So you have sold sugar for rupees 50 lakhs, suppose, and the cost of cultivation of the sugar cane was rupees 10 lakhs. So whatever be the amount you have spent on that agriculture produce of rupees 10 lakh, that is deductible. That is very much deductible. You can deduct it while computing your business income. Okay, clear? उसके अलावा no further deduction would be available. For example, whatever the manufacturing cost you are incurring, that you will be do. Of course, for a cultivator, whatever be the cultivation cost on that sugarcane you have done, that also you have to determine in the form of agriculture. Let's understand this with the help of this illustration. Then it would be more clear. Mr. Amar grows sugarcane and uses the same for the purpose of manufacturing sugar. क्या कर रहे हैं वो? Sugar in his factory. Okay. 40% of the sugarcane produce, whatever. I want the answer from you. I'm not showing the answer to you. In this case, you also read this along with me and give me the answers. Okay. What they are saying, Mr. Amar grows sugarcane. Okay. How much? 40% of the sugar produce he sold for 12 lakh rupees. How much? 40% only for 12 lakh rupees. Cost of cultivation कितना था? 6 lakh rupees का था. Cost of cultivation of the balance sugarcane, whatever be the remaining, he is using that sugarcane for producing the sugar, for manufacturing the sugar. How much the cost of that sugarcane was 15 lakhs. And market value of the same. If he sells this sugarcane in the market, then he will be getting rupees 25 lakhs. How much he will get? 25 lakhs. Instead of selling directly into the market, what he is doing? He is using it for manufacturing the sugar. Understanding? And for manufacturing process, he incurs 1.5 lakh rupees. And then he sold that sugar in the market for rupees 30 lakhs. For rupees 30 lakhs. Got it? Now you tell me what would be the business income of Amar and what would be the agriculture income of the Amar. I'm just waiting for your answer. Question is before your screen. Try to understand how we are going to compute the business income and agriculture income. Take your time. Yes. Good, Kanhaiya. Very good. Kanhaiya got the answer. Very good. Others also try to give answers. No matters. We are just learning. And it's not very difficult concept. You must have, done it at your inter level also. इस टाइप के वैसे क्वेश्चन जनरली आते नहीं है, but you never know. If you are going to be very lucky, then you can get such kind of questions. Ravinder also got the good, very good. Abhijit, what is this 12 lakh rupees? This is Ravinder, very good. Abhijit, you write, what is this 12 lakh rupees? 12 lakh, he sold the sugarcane for 12 lakh rupees. This is the amount of, the value of the sugarcane, which he get after selling it. So what would be the agriculture income? Understand. What would be the agriculture income? We can say net agricultural income also. We can say this term as net agriculture income also. And this is important term which we are going to understand while doing the concept of partial integration. 6 lakh agriculture income, business income 30 lakhs. Try. I want you to unmute, but sorry for that. Really, I want to listen from your answer and what basis you are solving it. But no issues. Let's move. So should I explain now? Rather, you have to check it again. Some mistake. Kavya is writing. Kavya, you also have to check it. Check it once more. Check it once more, dear students. Meanwhile, I should have a sip of water. Just give me a 1 minute, huh? Give me a 1. So let's understand. So well done, Kanaya. Well done, Ravinder. Very good. So all also very good. It's not that you are trying. Okay, just कुछ miss कर रहे होंगे, छोटा सा part. Yes, nothing great. So understand. He sold sugarcane. First, let's take the sugarcane 40%. He sold sugarcanes for 12 lakh rupees, and cost of cultivation of sugarcane is how much? 6 lakh rupees. 12 lakh becha, sugarcane बेच रहा है, agricultural produce only he is selling, right? He is selling agriculture produce, that is sugarcane, 12 lakh, and cost he incurred is 6 lakhs. First, it become your simple, 6 lakh become your agriculture income, right? Simple first. Secondly, what he is doing, he is using that agricultural produce for manufacturing sugar. How much is the market value of that sugar cane is? If he sells that sugar cane in the market, he will get 15 lakh rupees. कितना मिलता है उसको? 25 lakh rupees. Market value is 25 lakh rupees. ठीक है? And how much is the cost? Instead of using it in the production or manufacturing of sugar, if he uses that sugar cane valuing 25 lakh rupees and its cost was 10 lakh rupees, it would be your, its cost is, 15 lakh rupees. It becomes 10 lakh. This is also your agriculture income. Am I right? So आपके 16 lakh become your agriculture income. Now, what would be your business income here? What would be your business income here? In this case, how much is the amount he is getting from sale of sugar? 30 lakh rupees. And in this 30 lakh rupees, he used how much sugar cane of the value? 25 lakhs value of sugar cane he used in production of this sugar. So 25 lakh rupees, that is market value of what agriculture produce has to be reduced while computing its business income. Am I right? So the 25 lakh first he has to be deducted. Then how much he extra cost he incurred? 1.5 lakh rupees he incurred. How much? 1.5 lakh rupees. So how much it become? 3.5 lakh become its 3.5 become its business income. Got it? Is it clear now? Give me a thumbs up, fatafat. Koi doubt? Any doubt? This is your business income. This is your agriculture income. Any doubt, Radha, Kavya? Compute this. Market value में से you have to reduce this. This is the common mistake which the students keeps on doing in this concept, basically, because they forgot it. They understand, yes, 40% is sales. Yeah, okay. Then, of course, he has to also use that market. It also your agriculture income. Actual sale does not take place. But the amount, wholesale, you cannot categorize as business income. Benefit है ना आपको. You have the benefit. If you classify it as agriculture, it would become exempt. You will already minimize your tax liability. So you have to be extra careful, you know. So this is the concept. Then from rule 271, earlier there were 3 rules. Separate rules were there for income from manufacture of rubber, income from manufacturing of coffee, income from manufacturing of tea. In this case, what happens? There is a proportion is being specified in the rules itself. They are saying, first you compute the business income. First you compute the business income in the manner provided in the act. In the manner provided in the act that we will be seeing while doing our PGBP chapter. How to compute that business income. Thereafter, you will apply the prescribed percentage. Thereafter, you will apply the prescribed percentage to be treated it as taxable business income, and the remaining portion is treated as agricultural income. Okay, so this is an important concept. PGBP understand करेंगे, many times टी बोर्ड कॉफी का क्वेश्चन आ गया था, not only final. If you have seen this IBS paper, I don't know how many have seen the old papers of this attempt, May 26. If you see in the IBS paper, they have asked based on the tea development board question. Or frankly speaking, this is IBS paper. They are testing the direct tax provisions there also. Okay, so not only for direct taxes, you are preparing simultaneously for your IBS paper. Got it? So, jitna bhi whatever you are learning, please, whatever questions are there in the book, try to solve it. So, whatever concept you are learning, I'm just telling you that whatever the apportion rates, but in detail. First, you have to arrive at the business income. Then you are going to divide these things into these forms. Apportionment in the prescribed percentage. You just remember, you have to memorize these prescribed percentages. This is only for that purpose, nothing else. Okay, this is a table form. I'm not going to explain what it is. If you are selling the rubber products, then 65% income. This income, for determining the income now itself, you have to apply the provisions of PGPP, whatever is contained in the specified provision. I'll do 33AB. Now I have to see what it is now. So income from sale of rubber products, it's 35%. They are saying it should be 65% is your agriculture income, 35% would be your business income. Likewise, for income from sale of coffee, if we are grown and cured by the seller in India, suppose the seller itself is growing the coffee and no further process is taking place. Understand the concept, note it very careful, ध्यान देना, ठीक है, बहुत माइनर सा कंसेप्ट है. और सच बताऊं, फाइनल पे आई एम नॉट रिमेम्बरिंग इस टाइप की टेस्टिंग हुई है, but it was tested at interlabel actually. So what happens now, if you are growing the coffee and selling in the market, then whole of your income would be called agriculture income. But some process you are taking place, in that case, that has to be partly agriculture income and partly business income. And the manner you have to specify it in this proportion only. This is the key specific point which student missed it. Grown and cured is written. Grown, cured, and roasted, grounded is written. Very small, small. But grown means directly agriculture produce you are selling. Keep in mind the agriculture produce you are selling, then your income would be your agriculture income. Some process is being taking place to make it marketable. Then that has to be divided into two parts. That is agriculture income, business. In that proportions. Income from sale of tea grown and manufacturing is taken place. Then it would be your 60% and 40%. I hope it is clear and very simple illustration is given. It's for your homework. Note down your homework also. ठीक है, बहुत simple questions हैं. ऐसा there is nothing great in these questions. Of course, some type of MCQs may be asked in the form of 1 marker MCQs may be asked in this form. So try to understand. आपको 30% factor is your case scenario based MCQs or case scenario. It's not full-fledged integrated. There's small case scenarios may also be there for a single MCQ. So they may be asked in the form of MCQ. Something can be picked in the form of MCQs. Okay, so it's very simple concept. But जब आप इतना सारा पढ़ लेते हो ना, तो ये छोटे छोटे चीजें ना याद नहीं रहती हैं. जब आप अच्छे से पढ़ लोगे, अगर आपने एंड टाइम में भी नहीं पढ़ा ना, if you are not read it at the last stage of your examination, then also you will be remembering those things. वो you will recall all these provisions easily. Farm building, we have already discussed. This concept we have already discussed. I don't think there should be any doubt. This is also I have given for homework. In case of any doubt in any of these things, you can write down to me, because from the next class, even after the break, we will be moving to our PGPP chapter. Okay. So whatever be your doubt, I have already provided my mail ID, that is dt-final@icai.in. In case you have any doubt, any query, you please write to me, and also please share your feedback there. I am looking for your feedback. Please share your feedback. This is for your homework. What is the indirect connections? Means you are doing a shooting film. This is one of the important question actually. That this question is very important, and it is a past year question only. You are the owner of the land situated in Kerala, used for growing thereon different types of fruits, paddy, vegetable. You are using that land. You are the owner. Whatever be the income you are earning from that paddy, fruits, vegetables, everything is your agriculture income. But what happens? You have given this land to Yahoo Movies Limited, Chennai, and received a rent. You are receiving rent from the agriculture land. Okay, understand. You have to answer me. I'm not going to answer you. You please understand this. I just increase the size also. Now what happens? You have given this land, agricultural land, you are using it for agriculture purposes, but you have given this land to, किसको दे दी यहाँ पे land? Yahoo Movies को. The land is given to Yahoo Movies for shooting of a film. For shooting of a film. For what purpose the land is given? Shooting of the film. Now you tell me, the amount so received was accounted by him in the books as revenue derived from land. What he has done, whatever be the amount he received from the Yahoo movie films, he has considered in his books of accounts and claimed it as exempted income. Now he is want to confirm from you whatever the treatment he has done, whether he has done correctly or not. You just tell me he has done it correctly or not. Abhijit, yes, I got the answer from Abhijit. Yes. Why? Yeah, very good. Kanhaiya has given the reasoning also. And that is we look for it. You have to substantiate your answer with the reasoning. Yes, no में आंसर करोगे मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे. Conclude directly करके आ जाओगे, you will not fetch the marks. You have to substantiate it with the reasoning. ठीक है, कैसे reasoning लिखनी है? Let's understand. The income received by Mr. Ankur from filmmaker for allowing them to shoot a film in agricultural land owned by him is not in the nature of agriculture income. Why? Why it is not? A conclusion है. Is not in the nature of agriculture income. This is the conclusion. Okay. The reasoning is because it was neither received by him against sale of agriculture produce obtained nor for carrying out normal agricultural operations on the land. This was paid only for shooting of a film. ठीक है, ना ही तो एग्रीकल्चर ऑपरेशन से है ये इनकम, ना ही आपने उस पर कुछ सेल ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस से है. सो इट बिकम योर नॉन एग्रीकल्चर इनकम. गॉट इट? Very simple. This should appear in your answer sheets. Then only you will be able to, get the marks. ध्यान रखिए, अभी से तैयारी करिए, लिख के प्रैक्टिस करिए और try to match your answers with the given in your study material. Need not to be very elaborative. It is possible in our study material that we have given in elaborative form. But whatever be the specific requirement, that has to come in your answer sheets. Okay, now we are done with 733. We have to start with, and there is a Madras High Court ruling which was being followed in Madras High Court ruling, Apex Court. There they are saying this is identical fakes, where they are saying if you are substantiating it with the ruling, that's well and good. Ki, for allowing the shooting of a film is in the agriculture cannot be treated as agricultural income. So whatever be the examples, it has no nexus. The terminology they are using, no nexus, no connection. No nexus means no connection with the land, except that it was carried out on agricultural land. Only carrying out some activity apart from this agriculture cannot classify that income as agricultural income. This is important thing. So partial integration concept is again there. I want to explain that, then we will be taking break. So this is all for this. What I want to say you, these examples, whatever we have given now, this indirect connection, please read these examples. Okay, this is very important examples. We can say this is your homework. Note down this homework. Okay, judicial rulings actually now it's better agar Supreme Court rulings try to learn through the citations. If you're not remembering now, you just write in a particular decision or the judicial ruling, you can specifically mention there they have decided like that. If you're not remembering, if you are able to remember the citations of the ruling, it's well and good. Okay. So read these things because they are classifying it as agriculture income or not agriculture income. Some of the examples are given. Please read this on your own. Now, just very fastly, we will be moving, and this is not a very new concept to you. You all have done it. Okay, partial integration of agriculture income. Now, Income Tax Act, whatever be the provisions are there, they are not for the purpose of bus provisions. They have some logic. They have some reasoning. They have some background. They have inserted this provision. Why? What happens now? If if the land is situated anywhere in India, and it is used for agriculture purposes, and the process is employed, agriculture operation process is done on that land, that income, what happens? That income is classified as your agriculture income, become exempt. So what has done? People are showing, if you just Google it or this thing, you will get some examples also relating to that you are doing some agricultural operation in a very small land, and whatever the income you are generating now, you are showing that income against that small portion of things. All income you are showing it as agriculture income, and people are avoiding the tax. They are avoiding the tax by misusing these provisions. So what they have done, because central government do not have the right to tax that agriculture income, but it is exempted. That's why But what they have done, partial integration, means they have come out with the concept that if you are having some income, whom it is applicable to individuals. Please note these persons also, very important. It is applicable to individuals, HUF, AOP, BY and AJP. If these two conditions are satisfied, very minimal, that net agriculture income. Net agriculture income means, you see na, sugar cane mein, whatever be the sale of agriculture produce you are earning and the cost of cultivation you are reducing, then whatever income you are arriving, it is a net agricultural income. Okay, keep in mind what is net agricultural income. So net agricultural income should exceed 5,000 per annum. What is the minimum limit? It's 5,000 per annum if it is exceeds. And your non-agriculture income, you having some non-agriculture income, that should exceed the maximum amount not chargeable to tax. What is this maximum amount? In case of optional tax regime, you all know what is the basic exemption limits. And in case of default tax regime, it is 4 lakh. In case of optional tax regimes, you know all these two regimes. These are very important. The answer would vary under both the regimes because your basic exemption limit also vary according to the regimes. Right? It is 5 lakh if 80 years or more the individual, and it is 3 lakh if it is 60 years or more, but less than 80 years at any time during the tax year, you have done all these things. These are the basic exemption limit. And this concept of aggregation is not applicable to company, LLP, firm, or cooperative society and local authorities. It is not applicable to them. The object is to, tax the non-agriculture income at higher rates. Indirectly, you have lot of agriculture income and you shown your non-agriculture very less. Then also they want to take the tax on you. That's a simple logic. And they have just converted everything into formulas under the new act, and it becomes so easy now to remember. Of course, don't ask me what is the ZN and XN and YN. They have used this formula. If you see the Finance Act schedules, you will find these formulas. And these are becoming easy to remember now. What do you have to do? First, you have to determine the income tax on the aggregate income. First, you have to determine the income tax as if such aggregate income for the total income. Aggregate income kya hai yaar? What is aggregate income here is total income plus net agriculture income. Total income means other than agriculture income. No total income and not net agriculture income. Understand? आप total income में you have not included. Whenever you are computing total income, agriculture income जब भी आएगा, whenever agriculture income is there, you will mark it as exempt under section 11. Read with schedule 2, table serial number 1, if you are remembering. Otherwise, you can write exempt also. Okay. It is not forming part of your total income. So your total income, whatever be your total income, suppose it's exceeding, of course, exceeding the basic 5 lakh rupees is the non-agriculture income. Yeah, and your agriculture income is above 10 lakh hai, 12 lakh hai, something like that. So you have to combine those things, add it, and then determine the tax as per the applicable rates, whether it is specified in 202 or under the optional tax regime. Then thereafter, what you do, first you determine that tax, then you determine the tax on the agriculture income as increased by the basic exemption limit. As increased by the basic exemption limit. Whatever be the tax, you just reduce from XN minus YN, whatever the tax earlier you determine, then you reduce the second tax on the agriculture income plus the basic exemption limit, you will arrive at the net tax. Thereafter, you have to increase it by surcharge if applicable, but surcharge application ke liye you have to see the total income without the agriculture income part. Understanding? Agriculture income include करके total income नहीं देखेंगे. We will see the agriculture total income without including the agriculture income. Then the surcharge will be seen whether it is applicable or not. If it is less than this, again, then it has to be reduced by the rebate, which we have already discussed under section 115. Then we will apply the HEC. There is an illustration. I don't think there is anything great in that. You can do it on your own. Okay? This is for your homework. Very simply is given. You have to determine the net agriculture income. This is the major concept actually that you see. You have to determine this net agriculture income, because what happens now in this case, Agriculture income is given 4,50,000, and then your expenses are incurred is written 160. So isko net agriculture income you have to determine, and you have to exempt it. So follow this format. First of all, please keep in mind, this is one of the important thing. I don't know, even if students have cleared intermediate, but still they are not very clear. Okay, you have to follow the heads of income sequence. You have to follow the heads of income sequence. For example, if salary income is written, suppose there is a question of DTA. If salary income is written, first you have to write the salary under the head salaries, right? Then you will proceed to house property. Then you will proceed to PGBP. Then capital gains. Then other sources. Other sources में आपका agriculture income आएगा, right? So what you do? You have to proceed. For example, companies का case है. If rental income is there from the commercial properties, means they have rented the commercial properties, and Chennai properties case will be there. This you are going to going through the PGBP concept also. So in that case, you will proceed to income from house property first. Then you will proceed to PGBP. ऐसा नहीं करना है कि PGBP से start करते हैं क्वेश्चन. Please don't do it. Follow the sequence of the heads of income. ये छोटा क्वेश्चन भी आया, अगर इसमें सैलरी इनकम दी हुई है, if you see salary income is also given, that is computed. You need not to, देखो यहाँ पे, please see, look at the question. It is computed what is written. That means you need not to provide for the standard deduction. याद है ना, फाइनल पे आके बिल्कुल भूल जाते हैं कि सैलरी में कुछ स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन भी मिलती है. इतने सारे कंसेप्ट हम पढ़ लिए होते हैं ना कि just we skip all these small things, but it makes your answer completely wrong when you are doing the rebate under section your 91 पहले था, now it is 160. So keep and see the question very carefully. Here computed word is written. If something is written like salary only, then you have to apply for the standard deduction. Income from house property also, if rental income is there, then of course you have to apply for the 30% standard deduction there. Then you will compute the income from house property. It's already decomputed. So see how we have given the question, how we have solved it. We have solved taking the income from salaries, then house property, then net agriculture income, then your gross total income. If deductions are not there, you need not to mention. If nothing is mentioned, you need not to write it. It's written only to show you ki in case if required you have to. Why? Because it's being solved under the default tax regime. That's why we have written under the default tax regime, no chapter 8 deduction is available. That's all. Then income tax. Income tax ke liye there is a proper computations are involved that you can show by way of your working notes to make your answers more readable. But बहुत लंबे working computations हैं, then only you do that. Otherwise, you try to solve then and there. बहुत small computations हैं, then you can do then and there. But wholesale computations are involved, then show it by way of working notes below it, below your answer. Got it? Same format, formula is written. In this format, you will compute it, and then you determine your income tax, and that on that income, you will determine your HEC and tax liability. Is it clear? यहाँ तक सब कुछ समझ में आया? We have to move to our next topic also. So you can solve it. In case of any doubt, you can come to me. Reach out to me. There is nothing in these cases. Then some exemptions are given, which we are covering in these chapters. They are also very, self-explanatory. There is nothing great. बहुत limited content हो गया आपका. आप देखोगे if you have gone through your, earlier अभी वाले जो November 26 के बच्चे हैं, and the study material which was relevant for your November 26 exams and which was based on the 1961 Act, whole lot of exemption list is given and which is given in this chapter. On account of study guidelines by which we are giving the exclusions from the syllabus, that list is very limited now. And of course, please try to remember those things, because I know when I appeared in my exams, I got one of the questions from section 10 itself. And really, I could not remember anything. But based on my own experience and all those things, I solved it. And really, I don't know, but I scored a good marks in DT. So this is very limited, sections which we are dealing with in this chapter. So very limited portion, cash awards, received from the government, they are exempted. For example, like if you see National Teachers Awards, we got, I have written certain things, PM Rashtriya Bal Puraskar type of award, if we received, then that is exempt by virtue of Schedule 2, serial number 10. Likewise, of course, this is important that if you are a member of HUF and any income is distributed by the HUF, you are receiving that, that HUF is one of the form of person and HUF is taxable. So income is taxable in the hands of HUF, and that HUF is distributing the share to a member, that share would be exempted. Likewise, in case of partnership firms, in case of partnership firm, the share of a partner is exempted. That you all are aware of. And this is the next thing, serial number 2. If you see serial number 2, share income of a partner is exempted. Remember this, and this is very important concept. Not only here, DTA के concepts में ये बहुत ज़्यादा testing होती है, बहुत ज़्यादा testing होती है. किस form में testing होती है? To check the concept of doubly taxed income. मैं सिर्फ एक hint दे रही हूँ so that आपको ये याद रहे. ठीक है, doubly taxed income, because that income is cannot be said as doubly taxed, even though you paid the tax outside India, but in India it's being exempt, so it cannot be considered as doubly taxed income. ठीक है, इस concept से you remember this point, share income. Likewise, if you're receiving, a partner is receiving a remuneration, where it would be taxable? Kavya, I will explain the concept of study guidelines again in the next, after doing this PGPP, I will again take some session and will explain the concept of study guidelines to you. Okay. Meanwhile, you just write down to me, over that I will explain you. Or you just tell me the salary of a partner, under which head it would be taxable. Very good, Abhijit. Very good, very good. बहुत common mistake है जो इंटर के बच्चे बहुत करते हैं. In the hand, of course, it is being allowed as deduction. Okay, the partner's remuneration, if it is allowed as deduction, it would be taxable. Other sources, why? Why other sources? आज PGBP का चैप्टर होगा आपका. Ask this question, है ना? PGBP में होगी वो taxable, not other sources. ये तो इंटर पे भी बहुत टेस्टिंग हुई है यार इसकी. This is being tested at a lot. So एक बार देख लो, partner's share is exempted, but the partner's remuneration, which is allowed as deduction in the hands of the firm, that is taxable, or that is taxable under the head PGBP. वो आप देखोगे section 15 पढ़ना. You just open the Bear Act. I have shared the Bear Act with you ना. Read section 15. The answer you will get it. Read section 50. Okay. Note down whatever I'm telling you now, the homework. You have to see the Bear Act for section 15 to understand where the partner's remuneration would be taxable. Okay. Then this is very simple. If suppose a partner share, you are getting a partner share from a firm whose income is exempted. This is a circular whose income is exempted. Okay. So whether that share also will be exempted? Very simple. They are saying yes, of course. It would not, divert from the provision. Share of partner from a firm would be exempted irrespective of the fact that the income chargeable to tax in the hands of the firm is nil on account of any exemption or deduction. बहुत clarificatory circular है. This is a very clarificatory circular. Compensation received on account of disaster, very important, because very few are there. So they become important for you. Very few exemptions are covered in this chapter. They become important for you. So read this, exemptions and try to learn it. Very simple. You are receiving some compensation from the central government or the state government, and or your legal here are receiving any compensation from any disaster. Disaster ke meaning is written here. You try to understand. It should not be you are getting compensation account of any some accident, not in case of some disaster. Meaning is important here, and one of the question is also given illustration to try to understand. Bomb blast has taken and some public disaster is there basically. So in that case, it would be exempted. Similarly, MPs, MLAs get some daily allowances or any allowances or constituency allowances to the MPs is given, and daily allowances given. These exemptions are given to the parliamentary body, these personals. and this is being exempted. Of course, it's not being written here, but these exemptions, whatever exemptions are not available, कहाँ पे available नहीं है? Under default tax regime. This is the only exemption. I will specify in this chapter. अभी मैंने नहीं specify किया, but I will specify in this chapter. This is not available under the default tax regime. These exemptions. ठीक है. Then pensions received, gallantry awards may, if a person is employee, there are, see, very few, but try to understand this is a cumulative condition that the person should be an employee and receiving some gallantry award in the form of Paramveer Chakra, Mahavir Chakra, or the Veer Chakra. Then that pension, they are exempting the pension to that person. Okay, and they are also exempting the pension given to after the death of such individual. Such individual means an individual who as an employee of central or state government and has been awarded these gallantry awards. Then in that case, the family pension received by the person's family pension, members of the family, then it would be exempted. Likewise, this disability pension is given to the armed forces persons who are become disabled on account of their disability. If they are receiving some pensions, that would be exempted. Meaning of family is written. So you see this meaning of family. Thoda sa click karna. Please see whether it's being written dependent or not dependent, because questions are asked based on this provision, whether they are dependent or not dependent. Okay. Interest or enhanced compensation is not written here. Okay, that is not exempted. Then scheduled tribes, of course, is written key whatever be the income you are earning in the areas mentioned in those states. Just try to remember whatever the states are given in the book itself. These states are being given. Try to remember these states, union territories of Ladakh only, and any source of income you are receiving in those areas that would be exempted, along with the dividend and interest on securities. Because I remembered one of the other questions is being asked based on Sikkimese individuals and those that scheduled tribe. Similarly, in case of Sikkimese also, Sikkimese individuals, they have northeastern country, this northeastern areas are given special, given these specific benefits basically to promote these areas. So the Sikkimese individuals are given these exemptions. So in that form, you can just remember it. T-board subsidies, it's simple that the T-board subsidy is received by these manufacturing of this tea, rubber, who are in the business of this tea, rubber, coffee, cardamom, or any other commodity. So whatever the subsidy you are receiving from them, that would be exempted. Local authorities, you can read it. There is nothing. Agar aapko, if you are not able to understand this don't worry about it. This we are dealing in chapter 10 in detail. ठीक है? So ये आपको नहीं अगर समझ में आए तो don't worry about it. You can escape it, but we are discussing it in chapter 10 when we are, because now in the new act, specific highlight that the provisions of what we are used to call it as charitable trust or institution have totally been changed. They are now termed as new terminology. They have coined in, that is registered not-profit organizations, and in that registered not-profit organization they have to register. Of course, the manner and procedure remains the same, but new terms they are being used. Okay, so for that we will be having a separate class if we can do this thing. Apart from that, what else? This is section 14 and very clear, the expenditure which you are incurring for the purpose of this exempted income, that is not allowable as deduction. This is the crux of this section 14. And one of the case law is given. You just read this case law. This is an important one. Please understand. There is a difference between exemptions and deductions. We have already discussed there is a difference between exemptions and deductions. So suppose you get some deductions in respect of certain incomes. In respect of those incomes, if you are incurring some expenditure, that expenditure is allowable. Section 14 is restricting you giving the restriction only with respect to the exempted income. So expenditure you are incurring for earning any exempted income, it is cannot be deductible. It is not deductible. Okay, but this is with respect to your deductions, this case law. Okay, that's all. Any doubt? So that we can take a break and we are just take these questions, of course, please solve on your own. We are giving many homework to you. Please try to solve. Don't see their answers. Try to solve these questions on your own. Okay, then compare your answers. In case you are not able to understand, it is very simple concepts only. Then you please write to me at dt-final@icai.in, and I think we can take break. Yeah, would naturally be exempted. So, but there are certain cases. There are certain cases. Exempted income is tax-free on its own. Yeah, exempted income is income. First chapter. You were not there, I think, Kavya, on that day. That time I showed you chapter 3. If you see chapter 3 itself, the title of chapter 3 itself is saying, what it is saying? Income which do not form part of total income. That means these incomes are not at all included in your total income. That means they are exempted on their own. Conditions are subject to conditions. It's not on its own subject to condition. For example, agriculture income is of course without any condition. But first, to determine whether the income itself is classifying it as agricultural income is one of the important question that we have discussed. Okay. Apart from that, exemptions are given subject to certain conditions. Okay. So I just want to show you this. This is in section 11. This I have shown on that day. This chapter, there is a difference. Deductions are subject to conditions. Exemptions are subject to condition. On its own, they would not be, but they will not be forming part of your total income at all. And in relation to whatever expenditure you are incurring, that would also not be forming part of your total income. So on your screen, this is chapter 3 of the new Income Tax Act, which itself has two parts. First, not includable in the total income, then political parties thing is there. This we are discussing in chapter 10. This we are discussing in chapter 10. ठीक है, ये हमने अभी यहाँ पे डिस्कस कर लिया, but only the limited portion we have discussed. Otherwise, we are going to discuss along with the respective provisions and the concepts. That's all. We can now take break in case of any doubt. So, shall we go for the break? Rule 14. You just read that rule 14. Actually, this is specifying how you are going to determine. Suppose you have some income, and whole of the entire income is not exempted, and you have incurred the expenditure with respect to everything. So rule is specifying how you are going to divide it. That manner of determining that expenditure which pertains to that exempted income is specified in that rule. Okay. So technical team, we can take the break now. We shall go for the break. Yeah.
Very good evening to all of you students. So this is C. Durgesh Singh. Students, now I'll be taking you through to the heads of income, which is the profit and gains from business and profession. Students, just confirm once about the clarity of the audio. Good evening, Ravindra. Audio, students, just confirm once on the audio part before we. All good? Perfect. Audio is little low. Rather, Ravindra. Okay, let us try to speak louder, Ravindra. I hope that if anything on the audio front, if there would be any issue, just let me know. Okay? Because of the audio, if supposedly you are not in a position to understand anything, just let me know that. Now, students, as you know, this becomes one of the biggest heads of income, PGBP. Obviously, there are certain challenges that the students face. The best particular way to address this particular important heads of income would be to understand as logical as possible. To understand as logical as possible the heads of income, that is the PGBP. So I will make an endeavor to ensure that this head of income is understood in the utmost logical manner. You know the why of the provision, and more importantly, we will start applying the provision through certain practical questions immediately, students. Now, this particular topic also is heavily tested on the practical side. So I would want your support as well, students, because what we will do is that we will try to create certain case studies and questions, and I will try to pitch those questions also to all of you, maybe as a homework or primarily in the class itself, but we will ensure to learn many of the provision through its application, through its practical application. So it's very important that the provisions, if it cannot be applied properly, then it doesn't serve any purpose in the examination. So that is one of the part. So we will understand the why of the provision, why this provision has been introduced and what it serves, so that many of the provision automatically becomes crystal clear in the mind of the students if you understand why of it, and secondly, how to execute, how to apply the provision. Students, very quickly I'll summarize whatever we have learned so far, primarily in the earlier class, before we enter into the head PGBP. Students, any taxation law has got three pillars. You all are aware in the screen itself. One is the levy, the charge. Second is the computation, and the third one is the collection. The charge, primarily the taxable event. Second is the computation part. How do you compute the tax? And the third one is the collection. Collection, so far as the income tax law is concerned, many of you are aware how the collection mechanism is taken place under the income tax law. If you can just recall, maybe some inter CA or in your practicals also, you know how the income tax is collected. There are various mechanism of collection, students, you may be aware. One is the TDS, another is the TCS, another is the advance tax, isn't it? Then there is a self-assessment tax, isn't it? Then there are some recoveries that the government do after the assessment. The recoveries is what the government do. So there are many modes of collection. That is what is there in the income tax law, which you are going to learn in the subsequent module. The levy, students, primarily right now is on the levy of the income tax law, section 4. It is on what? It is on income? No, it is not on the income. It is on the total income. And the total income, because you have to, many of the students say that, sir, the charge is on the income, which is incorrect. The charge is never on the income. The charge is on the total income. And if students, if you have to do the totaling of an income, the totaling of the income has to be for a period. The totaling of the income, if you have to do a total, the total has to be for a period. The period over here is tax year. The period over here is tax year. The tax year, therefore, is nothing but the financial year. The tax year is nothing but the financial year, isn't it? So therefore, students, that a total income of the tax year, so that is what you need to compute. Now, the next step of the charge is therefore on the total income of the tax year, the total income of the tax year. Now the question is how to compute the total income? The second stage, computation. Computation, students. Now here, students, you have to be very careful. Here you will find in the accounting, students, in the accounting, we do the computation of income on a consolidated basis. We do the computation of the income on the consolidated basis. Isn't it? There is a consolidated net profit as far as the accounting is concerned. But when it comes to income tax law, primarily, this is where there is a divorce between accounting and income tax law. Accounting is doing the computation on a consolidated basis, whereas under the income tax law, section 13. What does section 13 do, students? See the slide. Section 13 splits the income in 5 different heads. Section 15 is splitting the income in 5 different heads, starting with the head salary, thereafter the house property, thereafter the PGBP, capital gains and IFOS. So therefore, the mandate that under the income tax law, you are supposed to compute the income headwise. This mandate you are getting from section 13. Because section 13 classifies the income, students, classifies the income in 5 different heads, students. Now just see this particular 5 fingers. And this is exactly how the heads of income also appears. The first head, salary. As you know, students, I've given in this particular PDF the range of the section 15 to 19. Primarily, 15 to 19, the classification, students, salary is covered from section 15 to 19 in this context. Now, if you remember, students, in salary also, what we do, we have got a gross salary and then we have some standard deduction, professional tax, isn't it? Now, also now in the new Income Tax Act 2025, in the new Income Tax Act 2025, we are getting deduction of some retirement benefits. Are you aware of it? We are getting deductions of some retirement benefits. Students, you are expected to be aware of these provisions primarily, because whatever is the inter-level content, those content is something that needs to be known by the students. Now, these, remember in your inter-CA students, in the old income tax law, these retirement benefits, you people have done it under the exemption side. Now we are getting it under the new income tax law as a deduction side. So these are few deductions that you get under the salary. Few deductions. Primarily, you can just on your fingertips, those deductions would be there. So there are few deductions that you are getting so far as the head salary is concerned. Now, what about the standard deduction, students? Are you aware of the standard deduction that you get in salary? Yes. One is 75,000 if you are in the default tax regime, and in another case it is 50,000 under the normal tax regime, isn't it? Come to the next head. The next head is what? House property. House property, students, primarily the second head of income. GAV less municipal tax paid, NAV, standard deduction, interest. These are the deductions that you get. Again, if you see in this head also, the dominant feature is the standard deduction. So the deductions are few, and main deduction that regulates house property is the standard deduction, 30% of the NAV. Now comes the biggest head. Which is the biggest head, students? PGBP, primarily. And in PGBP, students, this why it is biggest, because this is the head where you are getting the deduction on actual basis. So there are no concept of standard deductions over here. In fact, the deductions that you are getting in this head is on actual basis. That is the reason why this becomes the biggest head under the entire heads of income. Thereafter, you have the capital gains primarily. Capital gains, students, if you see, it's more about the valuation. You have to value what is the full value of consideration. That is all about the chapter on valuation, isn't it? Like you need to value what is FVC, what is the cost of acquisition, isn't it? Many of the provision, if you can recall your inter-CA, in many of the provision, they define what is FVC. many of the provisions, they define what is cost of acquisition. So you will find this particular chapter heavily on the valuation part of it. What is FMV? Remember those inter-CA that you people have done it. What is FMV? All that thing is all about the valuation. This is the chapter mainly on the valuation side. And the last head, students, is nothing but the IFOS, the smallest head. Now, one unique thing that you would have learned, students, that each heads of income has a distinct method of computation. I just have told you, isn't it? Salary and house property, standard deduction. PGBP, deduction on actual basis. Capital gains, mainly on valuation side. And IFOS. Each heads of income, students, has a separate and a distinct mode of computation. And that is the reason why, students, if you make a wrong classification of income, like for example, remember this basic example that you people have learned in inter-CA, a teacher who is employed in a college and the teacher is getting remuneration from the college. At the same time, the teacher is also getting, for paper checking purpose, the teacher is also getting from university some remuneration for paper evaluation. So remuneration that it receives from college, under which head you are classifying? Salary. And for college, under which head you are classifying? IFOS. Why did you do that? You are doing a classification. And why classification becomes important? Because you know that under the head salary, the computation is different. Under the head IFOS, the computation is different. That is the reason why the classification of the income correctly in the appropriate head becomes important. And the test of classification, students, can you see this particular slide? The test of classification, primarily, which you can see over here, you will be finding it where? In the charging section of every heads of income. Every heads of income provides what is the test of classification of the income in that particular head. Check out, students, for salary. For salary, which section? Section number 15. The first section is the charging section. What is charging section for the heads of income? What do you mean by charging section for the heads of income? The charging section for the heads of income means it lays down the condition. It lays down what? The condition on the basis of which the income would be classified in that particular head. So when the income would be classified under the salary, it will be classified if the amount is received in consequence of an employer and employee relationship. Any amount will be classified under the head salary if the amount is received in consequence of employer and employee relationship. How about house property, students? When the house property will be classified, when the annual value of house property will be classified in this head? Will be classified in this head? I will give you two examples. Mr. A is the owner. He is letting out the house property to Mr. B. Mr. B sublet that house property to Mr. C. Mr. A, the owner, let out the house property to B. Mr. B is subletting this house property to C. Now B is paying rent to A. C is also paying rent to B. Both of them, the character of payment is rent, isn't it? But who is receiving the rent? Mr. A is receiving the rent in the capacity of the owner. In the capacity of what? In the capacity of the owner, isn't it? So therefore, because he is the owner of that house property and in the capacity of being the owner, he is receiving the rent. That rent will be chargeable under the head house property. What about the second party? B receiving the rent. Is he receiving in the capacity of the owner? No. That rental income will be classified therefore under which head? IFOS. This is the classification. You say, sir, what difference it will make? Definitely there will be difference. What is the difference, students? When Mr. A is computing the house property income, he is computing under the head house property. And when he is computing the income under the head house property, Mr. A will be taking a standard deduction of 30%. When Mr. B is computing, he is computing under the head IFOS. And if he is computing under the head IFOS, whether Mr. B on the rental income, will he claim standard deduction? No. the 30% stand deduction is not available. In fact, students, tell me, the rent that Mr. B is paying to Mr. A, the rent that Mr. B is paying to Mr. A, that is an expenditure for Mr. B. So whether Mr. B, will he be in a position to claim deduction of the rent that it has paid to Mr. A in computing his rental income under the IFOS? Answer is yes. Why is it so? Because he is computing the income under the head IFOS as against Mr. A, who is computing the income under the head house property. Can you appreciate the difference? How the computation changes? And that is the reason why, students, if you do a wrong classification, you will end up doing a wrong computation. That is an important point that I just want to highlight on. Same way, students, PGBP, the charging section, we are going to discuss straight away now. Capital gains, when the income will be classified under the capital gains? When the income will be classified under the capital gains, there has to be a transfer of a capital asset. That is a condition for chargeability under the capital gains. And the chargeability, students, isn't a section 67, isn't it? And the last head, IFOS, isn't it? 92 is a charging section, students. There are more to chargeability. We'll discuss it as and when we hit upon to the charging sections. We'll discuss, there are many multifaceted aspects. Once the classification is through, then what you do? Then you will do the computation. Computation in that particular head. The head in which you have classified, you will start doing the computation of the income as per the rules of computation of that particular head. That is step number 2. And accordingly, for 5 heads of income, you will carry out your computation. For 5 heads of income, you will carry out your computation as per the rules of computation of each head. Come to step number 3. After all the heads of income is over, students, section 96 to section 100, section 90 to section 100 is a anti-tax avoidance provision. Is a specific anti-tax avoidance provision, students. Heard of this particular thing? This provision of SAR, or the provision of general anti-avoidance rule, the GAR provision, general anti-avoidance rule. Heard of it? If not, students, in final CA, definitely you will. This is a specific anti-tax avoidance provision, meaning thereby there is an attempt on the part of the SSC to avoid the tax. There is what? An attempt on the part. Clubbing of income. Please recall your inter CA. In clubbing of income, what used to happen? There was an attempt on the part of the SSC to avoid the tax. Is clubbing provision very specific? Yes, individual. Remember, minor child, spouse, daughter-in-law, those were the specific combinations that was there. So it becomes a specific anti-avoidance rule. It becomes what? Repeat with me, students, loudly. It becomes what? A specific anti-avoidance rule. I hope that all of you are clear with this one. Then there is a chapter on general anti-avoidance rule. Thereafter, students, once the clubbing is over, then we do aggregation of income. Aggregation of income means primarily in this case, there are some special provision of that. This, students, 101 to 107, that will be discussed as and when it will come. I'm not triggering these sections right now. After clubbing of income, students, the popular chapter, set off or carry forward and set off of losses. You need to do the adjustment of the set off or carry forward and set off of losses. That needs to be adjusted. And once you adjust the losses, you get your GTI. And after GTI, the next deduction, the popular deduction is chapter 8, which was in the old law, chapter 6A. In the new law, chapter 8. That is from section 122 to 154. And after giving the effect of chapter 8, you get your total income. This total income is what is chargeable under section 4. Remember, the journey, the trigger is 4. And this is a journey that you have to travel to compute your total income. And on that total income, you will apply the tax rates, special rates, default tax regime, normal regime, so on and so forth, MAT, AMT. There are the tax that will be made applicable and you get your tax liabilities. I hope that bird's eye view is clear, students. And from this, in the computation, you have known the most important particular part. And what is the most important part? In the computation, the first step is the most important one. And what is that? The classification of income. And the classification, students, as you can see, it boils down to charging section. The first head of income talks about the charging section. The first section of the head talks about the charging section. And what is the charging section? It lists down the income that will be subject to charge in that particular head. PGBP, students, the first section is section 26. Now, students, just read first section 26 subsection 1. All of you just read 26 subsection 1 once. All of you. Any doubt, students, up till here? Before we enter now in this? Radha? Kavya? Perfect? All of you? Okay. So now, students, I'll just again read this starting section, students, all of you. Just read 26.1. Fine, students. Only 26.1. We'll do one by one. 26.1 says what, students? The income referred to in subsection 2. Subsection 2 shall be chargeable to income tax under the head profit and gains from business and profession. Students, this is a structural change that has happened under the income tax law. Please appreciate this language, because in the non-resident taxation also, there is suddenly you will find you have a bare act, students. After the lecture gets over, please read 9.1, section 9, subsection 1. And suddenly this is a new trend, primarily that we are finding it. So when you have to write your answers, your answer will change. Earlier in the old law of Income Tax Act 1961, we had charging section for PGBP started with section 28. And directly section 28, clause number 1, clause number 2, clause number 3. And what was those clause? What was those clause? Those clause was nothing but the things which are written in subsection 2 onwards. But here we are finding a change, students. What is exactly we are finding? We are finding a change. Section 26.1 is a charging section, and it says that whatever is referred in subsection 2 is what will be chargeable in this head. So 26.1 is a charging section, and 26.2. Now what 26.2 is going to give it to you? It is going to give you the scope. What is covered? What is covered? That will attract the charge of 26.1, isn't it? Because 26.1 says that whatever is referred or mentioned in subsection 2 is chargeable. So that is a charging section. Okay. And subsection 2 now is giving the scope or the coverage of which income will be subject to charge. This is your subsection 2. Can you understand the structural part? So whenever now you read this one, you have to understand that this is a split that they have done. First is the charging section, and by making a reference to the second subsection, the second subsection provides a scope. So now it boils down to subsection 2 now. The scope. So this is nothing but the scope of what is chargeable under subsection 1. Under subsection 1. Let's have a look, students. Subsection 2. Point number A is the most important part. Point number A, it says what? Just read it once. Profit and gains of any business or profession carried on by the SSE at any time during the tax year. What it says? It says profit and gains of any business and profession carried on by the SSC at any time during the tax year. At any time during the tax year. Read it one more time, students. Only the charging section. Subsection A, clause A. Read it one more time. I must say, students, that you crack this 26(2)A, you crack the entire PGBP. This is where primarily we will just spend some time, because the moment we spend time, students, on this, we will unfold the entire PGBP. And the moment it unfolds the entire PGBP, the other provision students will become very fast. And because we know the logic why these provisions are and has been given. This therefore becomes one of the most important particular section that we need to take a pause. We need to appreciate it, because once we appreciate this, many things that is going to unfold in this biggest head of income, the things will start making lot of sense. So let's start with the first phrase, the charge of profit and gains. The charge under the head PGBP is on the profit and gains. Is the charge on sales? Is the charge on sales? No. Is the charge on purchase? The charge is on what? On profit and gain, students. Before I further come to this particular part, students, I would want to make you brush up the three heads of income: salary, house property, and capital gains. Tell me one thing on salary. How you compute the salary? There is a gross salary. Then from the gross salary, there is a standard deduction. Then from standard deduction, there is deduction under section 19, those retirement benefits. And then you get your net salary. So gross to net, there is a journey that you travel, and that is how you do the computation. What about the head? House property. How do you compute your annual value, which is chargeable? Annual value, GAV, less municipal tax paid, NAV, 30% deduction, interest, you get your annual value. So start with the first, the gross annual value. Isn't it? How about the capital gains? The charge is on what? Not on consideration, but on full value of consideration. And then after full value of consideration, you reduce the expenses of transfer, net sale consideration, cost of acquisition, cost of improvement, capital gains. Understand that you are doing computations right from start till the end. Isn't it? What about PGBP? Please recall, in your inter-CA, did you ever did just the way we did for house property, for the capital gains, for the salary, we started with gross value and then we made certain deduction, we came to the net value. Like that, in your recall your inter-CA, when you did PGBP, did you ever started with sales, opening stock, purchase, closing stock, then operating expenses, then finally at the other miscellaneous expenditure, and finally the net profit under the head PGBP? Like that you did? You never did that. Remember what you did. Remember, just I will give you a quick example. Net profit as per the books, net profit as per the books, and from there add depreciation as per the books. Remember that popular adjustment, add depreciation as per the books, and then less depreciation under section 32, old section. Isn't it? Meaning thereby the net profit, what we were doing the adjustment. Adjustment on what? Adjustment on the profit as per the books, which is for business. On the profit as per the books, which is meant for the business, we used to do the adjustment. What was the adjustment? Depreciation as per the books, add less depreciation to section 32. Recall that inter-CA stuff, students. Can you recall this popular adjustment? Which means that as far as PGBP was concerned, the adjustment was made on a base value. And what is that base value, students? What is that base value? The base value, students, is nothing but, please have a look, the mandate. Please have a look, section 276 subsection 1. All of you will read it. Read it, students, once. Only 276 subsection 1. I hope that you can see the screen over here clearly. Please read. Isn't it? So, the head PGBP and for the head IFOS, do you do the computation from the gross value to the net value? Do you do the computation? No. What you do is the adjustments. And the adjustment is on the base value. And what is a base value? Students, what is a base value? The accounting income. As per the system of accounting. From where I got the mandate? From where I got the mandate to do the adjustment on the accounting income, I got the mandate from section 276 subsection 1, which says that in computing the income under the head PGBP or under the head IFOS, you will compute as per the system of accounting. So therefore, I get the mandate from section 276 subsection 1 that I will adopt the base amount, which is the accounting income. And the accounting income, students, you know, it is determined as per the commercial accounting principle. And therefore, on that accounting income, students, on that accounting income, I am doing the adjustment. Which adjustment? The statutory adjustment under the head PGBP. Under which head? Under the head PGBP. So can I say on the accounting income, after doing the statutory adjustment, can I say it is more like an adjusted accounting income? Because you did the adjustment on what? On the accounting income. The base is the accounting income. And on that accounting income, you did the statutory adjustment. You get what? This adjusted accounting income in a way. Adjusted accounting income in a way. Isn't it? And this is what is the crux. This is what is the crux, students. I ask here in students over here, I hope that all of you are clear with this one before I proceed. Because now would be the real game which I'm going to unfold before all of you. Please confirm up till now, students. Everyone. Radha, Kavya. There should not be a single note, students, because if you crack here, you decode this code, you decode the entire PGPP. I'm telling you in this context. And believe me, this is going to be, and then you will have that courage on yourself to do the adventure in PGPP. The main hand holding is required over here. Rest after that, you will have the courage to do the application on your own. This is where the real hand holding is required. Fine, students? So any doubt, students, please feel free to ask it, because even the base of doubt is still perfect at this particular point of time. Now, students, over here, I ask you one question in this case. Just a simple question. Let me test you. Supposingly, students, they give you, remember, there is a loss of stock by fire. Loss of stock by fire. Is it allowed as deduction in computing PGBP? Loss of stock by fire. Is it allowed as deduction in computing PGBP? Let me ask you straight away. Is it allowed? And if you say, sir, yes, it is allowed, can you also give me a reason for it? You can unmute it. If you can speak, it will be really good. If you can't speak, at least, can you speak? संकेत जी लोग बात कर पाएंगे? Because यहाँ पे थोड़ा चर्चा अगर हो जाए तो अच्छी बात है स्टूडेंट्स के साथ स्टेज में. So the answer that we are getting it, Abhijit, Radha. So there's incidental to business, revenue nature. Incidental to business, revenue nature. Allowed as expenses, indirect expenses. Isn't it? Okay. Can I therefore ask you, is there a particular section in which it is allowed as deduction? Tell me, is there any section where this deduction is allowed? Can you answer me this particular part? Is there any section where this deduction is allowed? Loss of stock by fire. Okay, recall the old section. Many of you say, sir, the new section number, we don't remember it. Old at least. Excellent. Radha, can you unmute yourself? Is it possible to unmute? Because if it is possible, I can hear your reasons. It will be really nice. Why you say so? Okay, Ikram be unmuted. संकेत जी पॉसिबल नहीं होगा ना आज अनम्यूट करना इनको. अच्छा ठीक है. Okay, perfect. So not an issue. I got it. So students, so students, put it in the chat box itself, all the queries and all, so that will be helpful. Okay, whichever I'm asking. Now, student, that is a very important answer. Radha, I think you are bang on the target as far as this particular point is concerned. See over here, students, loss of, when I say the profit which is to be determined under that PGBP is the accounting profit. Is the accounting profit, and on that accounting profit, how I say it is an accounting profit? Accounting profit because I'm getting the mandate as per 276 subsection 1. And on that accounting profit, I am doing a statutory adjustment, add depreciation as per the books, less depreciation under section 32. Isn't it? Now you tell me accounting profit is prepared as per the commercial accounting principle. And if you see a commercial accounting principle, think of P&L, students. Just think of your P&L. What you get in your P&L, students? There is an upper item and then there is a lower item. Upper item, students, can I say it is all trading item? And a profit and loss account which is prepared as per a commercial accounting principle. I'm using the word CAP. CAP, only short form for myself, for the class, but you will write commercial accounting principle. System of accounting. So commercial accounting principle. So I have a trading item and below that I have got what, students? I have got a herein below the line, the operational expenses. Operational what? Operational expenses, students. Or may I say, or expenses in normal course of business. Can I say that? Normal course of business. Can I say that, students? Isn't it? Operational expenses or the expenses in the normal course of business. Now you tell me, loss of profit, sorry, loss of stock by fire. Can I say it's a trading item? Can I say it's a trading item? Answer is yes, it is a trading item. And because it is a trading item, can I say it is allowed as deduction as per the commercial accounting principle? Is it allowed as deduction as per the commercial accounting principle? Answer is yes, it is allowed. Yes, it is allowed as deduction, students. As per what? As per the commercial accounting principle, isn't it? And that is the reason why by default it is allowed. By default it is allowed as per the system of accounting, which is the base value for PGBP. Which is the base value for PGBP. Now what I have to do when I enter into the heads of income, what I have to do? I have to check any provision that exists for disallowance of expenditure or disallowance of the loss. So as per the accounting principle, this loss is allowed. Why? Because it is a trading loss, incidental trading loss. As per the accounting principle, it is allowed. Now, when I am referring the heads of income, then what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to check, is there any provision which is disallowing this particular loss? Because if it is disallowing it, add back. If it is not disallowing it, ignore and move on. Isn't it? I hope that every one of you are clear with this one. Every one of you are clear with this one, students. Now, let me give another example. Supposingly, in the same fire, there was a plant and machinery which also got lost. The plant and machinery also got lost. Now you tell me, is a plant and machinery a trading item? Answer is no. Is it an operational or any expenditure in the normal course? Again, the answer is no. And therefore, in that case, students, this particular loss of plant and machinery by fire being a capital loss, it will not be allowed as deduction. So as per the commercial accounting principle, system of accounting, not allowed as deduction, isn't it? It is not allowed as deduction, isn't it? So you will add back. But what you will do, you will check your heads of income, which head PGBP, to see is there any specific provision, is there any specific provision which can allow the deduction of this loss of plant and machinery by fire, which otherwise is not allowed. Why not allowed? Because as per the system of accounting, as per the commercial accounting principle, this particular loss being a capital loss, it is neither a trading item nor an operational or item which is in the normal course. It is not allowed as per the commercial accounting principle. So if it is not allowed, so in the specific provision under the PGBP, what I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to check, is there any provision, is there any provision which allows the deduction of such capital loss or not? Students, I'll ask you one question quickly and tell me the answer straight away. Any particular section of interest here that you remember of Income Tax Act 1961, where under the PGBP a capital expenditure was allowed as deduction? You may say the section number of old act, because I understand that interest here you will know about the old act. Any particular section that you recall which was of the old act? Quickly, students, quickly. Where a capital expenditure was allowed as deduction under the PGBP. Where a capital expenditure was allowed as deduction under the PGBP, students. Anyone? A capex. Capital expenditure, students. Indeed. Excellent, students. 35 AD. Remember 35 AD, section 35, specified business, students. The specified business. Those specified business, capex were allowed as deduction. Even in scientific research, some capex was allowed as deduction. Tell me one thing. Will it be allowed under the commercial accounting principle? Could it be allowed under the commercial accounting principle? Answer is no. It cannot be allowed under the commercial accounting principle. So the government had to specify a section in an explicit manner, in the expressive manner. They have to specify that capex for scientific research, capex for specified business is allowed. If they would have kept silent, tell me one thing, students, if they would have kept silent, then whether those deduction would have been allowed? Answer is no. Why it would not have been allowed? Because capex is neither a trading item, nor it is something which is an item which is incurred in the normal course of business. And therefore, it is not otherwise allowed as deduction. I hope that every one of you are clear with this one. Kavya? Radha? Abhijit? All of you, any query, students? Can you proceed then? Now, students, what you do therefore is that in this case, so can I therefore say PGBP is heavily based on what? PGBP is heavily based on the accounting profit which is prepared as per the commercial accounting principle, and on that accounting profit you do the adjustments from the statutory section. Here in that case, students, please have a look. All of you are now going to take a note of this. Students, I hope that you're maintaining the notebooks and all in this context. So students, over here, first and foremost, all of you, students, please take a note of this. PGBP, net profit as per books in the P&L. Net profit as per the books in P&L. Then add and less items debited or credited that are chargeable under the head. Under other head, students, just write this under other heads. Under other heads. Write it once and then I will explain it to you quickly. Then you get net profit as per books for business. Then you do what? Add or less adjustments under section 26 to section 60. Now, under the new law, under the new act, students, adjustments under section 26 to section 60, PGBP adjustments are from 26 to 60, although PGBP head goes till 66. But the adjustment, students, that we are talking about it, the adjustments that students we are talking about it is from section 26 to section 60. So in the bracket I have written, students, head adjustment, and then after that comma section 278. 278 also I'll let you know what exactly it is. 278 also, students, I'll let you know what exactly it is. So just do the adjustment, add or less, and finally, students, you get what? ICDS. Heard of ICDS, students? Income Computation Disclosure Standard from 1 to 10 adjustment. This is what you do in this context. ICDS adjustment. And after doing the ICDS adjustment, that, students, this is what is your final figure that you get it from this particular head, PGBP. From this particular head. That is the range of section I have given you from section 26 to section 60. This is what you do the workout plus the ICDS adjustment plus section 278. Now, students, first I'll just quickly will refer, because see your question number 1, generally, students, now we have to see every attempt, the trend is changed, but generally question number 1 is the compulsory question. I'm talking about the descriptive part, and there you have to compute the total income. And students, in total income, generally it is for a company or a partnership firm. The question number 1 I'm talking about it. For individual also, there are chapter like NR taxation, where double taxation relief, wherein on individual they ask the question on total income, including the double taxation relief part. But question number 1 generally is for partnership firm and for a company. Generally, I'm talking for the computation of total income. Students, tell me one thing. As I told you just now, accounting income, do they have any classification? Salary, house, property, capital gains? Answer is no. They just simply prepare net profit. Net profit, which is as per the books. This net profit as per the books has got all the incomes. And then when you are asked to calculate the total income based on the net profit as per the books, so what would be the first step? If you are asked to calculate the total income under the Income Tax Act based on the net profit, based on what? Based on the net profit as per the books, then please tell me what is the first step? The first step is you have to check the net profit includes all the heads of income. So say for example, there are some income like interest, dividend, which falls under the head IFOS. So therefore that income will be excluded. Thereafter, there is some income, say, for which falls under the head capital gains, that also would be excluded. So after exclusion of the other items which are classified under the other heads, you get what? The net profit as per the books for business. And then on that net profit, so the first thing you do is the classification. Do you know what is that you are doing, friends? The first step, the first adjustment in computation of total income is classification. This is your section 13. Section 13, read with the relevant, read with what, students? Read with the relevant charging section of every head. So on that basis, you are trying to classify and you will deal it separately. That is section 13, read with the charging section of the relevant head. This is the first step. And then you arrive at the net profit as per the books for business. This becomes your base value, which is a mandate given to you, a base value, a mandate given to you under section 276 subsection 1. This is the mandate that has been given to you under section 276 subsection 1. See the citation. From this mandate, now you are doing the statutory adjustment. Which adjustment? 26 to 60. Add depreciation as per the books, less depreciation under section 32. Capital expenditure not allowed as per the commercial accounting principle. So a capex would not have been allowed. But as per, say, 35 AD, old law, in the new law it is 46. In the old law it was 35 AD. So as per section 46, capex for specified business, less. Are you getting this one? So this is what exactly you are doing the adjustment. Now students, tell me one thing. Can I say still this adjustment is on the accounting income? And accounting income, students, as per the accounting principle means Ind AS and everything. Ind AS. Now these Ind AS, which is an accounting principle, so your accounting profit which is determined is as per the Ind AS. Now tell me one thing. This Ind AS is generally for the shareholder reporting. They are the stakeholders. And because they are the stakeholder, remember, like principle of conservatism, principle of prudence, principle of materiality, all these principles becomes important. What is principle of conservatism? Which is nothing but principle of prudence, that you will try to create provisions and all, which is of the foreseeable expenditure. Remember, be very conservatism in recognizing the revenue and have a very large heart for recognizing the expenditures by creating the provision for future liabilities so that the profit gets reduced and the shareholder does not jump from their seat after seeing the annual report. So therefore, there is a principle of prudence that is applied. But by applying the principle of prudence, you are measuring your shareholder. But what about the government? For the income tax law, government is a stakeholders. And when they see that there is a provisions made for the future liability, but when it comes to revenue, you become very conservative. You don't recognize the revenue. So therefore, the accounting profit, which is based on the commercial accounting principle, that accounting profit, because it is prepared for the shareholder, there are a lot of principles that affects the profit which is finally reported, that reduces the profit which is finally reported. And there are many examples, and therefore the government says that, look boss, you have your Ind AS for shareholder, but that Ind AS for shareholder, when you apply, it reduces the profit disproportionately. And that is the reason why we should also have an equal say. There has to be an equity. And that is the reason why, students, because of this equity, ICDS has been introduced. So there will be an Ind AS standard. There would be a standard as per ICDS 1 to ICDS 10. Now, it is no brainer. You tell me, students, if there is any conflict between ICDS and the Ind AS standard, which will prevail? Which will prevail? It is ICDS 1 to ICDS 10. That will prevail over the Ind AS standard. Which influences the net profit, which is prepared as per the commercial accounting principle. So if there is any conflict between the two, then it is the ICDS that will prevail over the accounting profit. Now, straight away, students, I'll tell you, ICDS number 1, the first ICDS. In fact, students, many ICDS students, this is how the logic has to be entered. Now you read ICDS 1, even as an assignment, students, you will read it. You will crack all the many ICDS, you will simply crack it. In fact, I can just straight away finish it off. 3 ICDS right now based on this logic. Now, once you know the logic, why I'm reading this, easily 3 or 4 ICDS, you can finish it off. ICDS 1. accounting policies. What it says, students, what it says simply, without looking into it, that we don't recognize prudence, we don't recognize materiality unless those prudence are recognized by any other standard, any other ICDS. If they recognize it, then we are with them. Otherwise, we don't recognize your prudence and materiality. Do you know what happens now? By not recognizing your prudence means by not recognizing your conservatism, principle of conservatism. What happens, students? Suddenly what happens? The provision for losses, the provision for liability, for future liability, that becomes a big challenge now, because provision for future liability is principle of conservatism, principle of prudence. Now ICDS 1 says what? We don't recognize. And if you don't recognize, it means if there is any debit for provision for future liability, disallowed. Why? ICDS 1. But what ICDS 1 has said? ICDS 1 has said that yes, if there are other ICDS, then as per the other ICDS, we will grant you the deduction. Then I will tell you, then there is one ICDS, ICDS number 10. ICDS 10 says that, look, we will allow you the deduction provided you satisfy two conditions. Deduction of what, students? What deduction? Deduction of provision for future liability. We will allow you deduction. Satisfy two conditions. Which is two conditions? For future liabilities, we will allow you the deduction. You satisfy the following two conditions. Which are the following two conditions? Condition number 1. The future liability should be what? Should be reasonably certain. Certain means you know that this is going to be incurred. Like example, I'm telling you, students, warranty. When a particular car company sells a car, they also provide warranty. Television company sells the television, they provide warranty. They understand that during warranty, the servicing will come. So is the liability, which is the future liability, is it certain? Answer is yes, it is certain. This is condition number 1. There is a condition number 2 also. Second condition says that you are capable of measuring that liability. Measuring means you are in a position to ascertain what would be the quantum of liability. What would be the quantum of liability? Now there is past record, historical data, on the basis of which you know that this much of the warranty expenditure I am incurring anyways. So based on those data, based on those record, based on the contract with the service providers, whatever is the contract that you may have entered with the service provider, you know how much would be the liability that you are going to incur. So the second condition is also getting satisfied. If you satisfy both the condition, ICDS 10 says we will allow you the deduction for contingent liability or future liability. But if any one of the two conditions are not satisfied, forget it, disallowed. So ICDS 1 says that no prudence, no materiality. But then ICDS, unless what? Unless other ICDS allows the deduction. And then ICDS 10 on contingent liability, it says that satisfy two conditions and we give you deduction. And the two conditions, students, I've already mentioned. We'll just deal with this two ICDS. See, that's how we are finishing off, students, all these particular ICDS quickly. So if you should know the timing when you're reading what. This is very important. If you know the timing when you're reading what, students, half of the game is won. The battle is won, students, before it is fought. That is how the things are. Where it is. I'll just share with you, I'd say, ICDS students. Any doubt, students, up till now? Any doubts? Before I share the ICDS part with all of you. So see, students, these are the ICDS. No doubts. Students, just Kavya. Radha, thank you. Very good. So crack the logic, students. Take Berlin and you take Germany. That is what I'll say to you. Just a second. We'll finish off these ICT students. I hope that you have written these notes which I've given it to you. Students, see the accounting policy ICDS 1 and see the heading ICDS 10. Provision for contingent liability and contingent assets. So ICDS 1, now you know what it is going to say. ICDS 1, students, I have already told you. Just now you'll enjoy reading it because you know why of it. Why this ICDS was important? If you know the why, you can crack it. Now it's self-study. It's all self-study, students. It could be a homework also, but first class, I don't want to give you homework. This ICDS deals with significant accounting policy. While it recognizes, I'll just put it large. While it recognizes the fundamental accounting assumption of going concern, consistency, and accrual, it does not recognize the concept of materiality, prudence in selection of accounting policy. This last point is important. Mark to market loss or expected loss is not to be recognized unless what? Recognition of such loss is in accordance with provision of any other ICDS. Is that clear to all of you? Expected loss, future loss. Is that clear? Not to be recognized unless recognition of such losses in accordance with the provision of other ICDS. Now, I told you about ICDS number 10, isn't it? You can refer it, but we can do it together. ICDS number 10 in this context. So ICDS number 10, students. ICDS 10 deal with provision, contingent liability and contingent asset. However, it does not deal with provision of contingent liability, contingent asset resulting from financial instruments. Students, certain exclusions are given. We will take those exclusions later, but just come to the real point. ICDS 10. ICDS 10. Students, what it says? Simply put, shall not recognize, they start with say, shall not recognize contingent liability. Only when it becomes reasonably certain. So certainty is the criteria, students. That liability is reasonably certain. Please, students, use the word reasonable. Huh? You cannot be 100% certain. Nobody can be 100% certain. Isn't it? Even you crack your examination, you cannot say I'm going to pass. But you are reasonably certain. That is how you use the word. And what is the second condition? Capable of being measured. Measurement. I hope that all of just remember these two things. That is it. Conclusion. Students, write ICDS 10. Provision for contingent liability or contingent asset will be recognized or allowed as deduction. When it will be recognized? Two conditions. Write those two conditions. It should be reasonably be certain. What is the first point? Reasonably be certain. And what is the second point, students? Should be capable of being measured. Should be capable of being measured, students. I hope that all of you are clear with this one. In this context. Exactly. Now, students, similarly, so this is precisely the point of the entire particular discussion that has been there over here. I hope that every one of you are clear. It's 9:15, I think. So, students, profit and gains. Now, all of you are clear with this term profit and gains in this context. Now, students, in the next class, what I'm going to do would be this, that apart from this, I think the note should be given to you. You just, students, do one thing. Ensure to read down this particular note once. I just want you to read down this thing. The PDF would be made or would be shared with all of you. So just read down this once. Next class, students, when we will meet and we will also ensure to start solving some questions. We will start solving some questions. So our target would be one on the employee related provision. I want to solve some questions with all of you. Next class, students. In the next class, employee related provision, I want to solve certain questions with you. So be ready with that. So I will prepare a question, and that question will be majorly how you solve the adjustment. Students, just one request. This particular partner, this is the best way that wherein you are in a position to solve the question. Because unless you solve it, because see, the citation has changed. You have to cite a different section. How you present your answer is different now. So we have to directly catch the bull by its horn. So it will happen that now, once your base is clear, then subsequent explanation is something going to be very boring. So it will be like, okay, you would know that what it is. So better that we use our time to solve the questions more, so that you know how to apply, how to present. Even that aspect is the most important aspect, students, because at the end of it, you will score the marks. Once the base is clear, now you need to start solving it. So I will make certain questions, which is based on the past year paper. And based on the past year paper, some questions I will going to make, and we will have a theme. So the next is we will target employer related provisions. Employer, there are a list. If you see the Bear Act, I think all of you have the Bear Act. Every one of you has been given. I think the Bear Act has been given to all of you. Students, in the Bear Act particular section, in the Bear Act, if it is possible for you, in Inter-CA also you have read it. In Inter-CA also, students, you have read it, isn't it? If it is possible for all of you, just read one section and come from the Bear Act. It's not that you will be very much surprised to know, sir, what it is. Okay, all the logic and everything I will make it clear. Don't worry, Abhijit, Radha, Kavya, everything I will going to make you clear. But just read and come, because we just want to enjoy the entire application part. I want to solve questions with all of you. Section 29. Students, Section 29 of the Income Tax Act. You will find the list of employer-related provision. Section 29. Two sections, students, please mark it. Section 29. And one more section, students. Section 32. In 32, primarily, only 32A will do. 32 small a. Just write 32 small a and 29 full. 32 in the bracket small a. That's it. 32 small a, students, is for bonus and commission. Okay. Please get that thing reading done. We'll really enjoy this particular exercise of solving the questions together. Okay. Just, students, a humble request. I know you will have your articleship. Other challenges are there. But we just want to make the most out of this session that you're getting it. And I'm telling you, students, by the end of it, you'll have a real confidence to really crack the questions. Okay. Perfect, students. So I'll see you in the next class, students. Kavya, Radha, Balakrishna, Abhijit. Perfect. See you then, students. Take care. Good night to all of you. Bye-bye.
Hello.
Yeah, please say.
Sir, are you able to see my name listed there? Because I was...
Sriraman, I can see, definitely.
Yeah. Sorry to bother you at the last minute. Just wanted to check. This is my first class which I'm attending. I missed my last class. So some of the, including other tutors also, we were saying that the materials have been shared. Is that sent through mail or is that in the same Zoom box?
Sanketji, can you just...
because from none of the faculty I have received any mails or anything. So there was also a comment that there will be a WhatsApp group. Unfortunately, I'm not into that.
Students, I think it is already... do one thing. Okay. Sriraman.
Sriraman, yeah.
Sriraman, yeah. What I'll suggest you would be this, that there is one email ID. Can anyone type the email ID right now, straight away?
You're talking about BOS Noida? I've already sent it.
No, not in BOS. I think there is a specific email ID for DT. Any students? Yeah. Sriraman, can you just have a look to the chat box? DT-final@ICAI.in.
No, I'm not able to see anybody else.
DT the chat box. You will find DT-final.
DT-final
@ICAI.in.
Okay.
Okay, just message this, and you will definitely be. Okay, Radha, I got it. So you will be definitely getting this particular this thing.
Okay.
And the notes, this for PGPP notes, any case, no students have received it. So they will receive it, I think, by tomorrow or so. But don't worry, be there. Sri Raman, my humble suggestion to you would be, as far as the act is concerned, you can directly download from the website also. So
Okay.
like the income tax government gov.in. So from there, you can directly download the Income Tax Act.
Okay.
Because that is one of the act that ICAI has given to all the students also. Any case, that is downloadable. And just humble request, Sri Raman, is that 2 sections, which I told you, section 29
And 32A, small a.
32 small section, because the next session I will invest it in this. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Just to give you a background, sir, I'm not so tech savvy because I'm a student of 97 inter pass out. So I started my, want to complete this. I'm a CMA basically. So I was employed fully, and now I took a break that I wanted to practice.
No, there is never late. Primarily in this case, whenever you start off, it's all about that. The very fact, the big thing is that at this point of time, you have that inclination and courage to do it. That itself is big thing. Not everyone can do that in life.
Yeah.
Don't in fact belittle this particular thing. This is actually a big achievement. Really to really sit and then really to take this plunge to do the final CA. Hats off. It's really it's not everyone's cup of tea. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All the best. God bless you. Take care, friends. Bye-bye. I'll see you in the next class. 29 and 32A. Yeah, perfect. From the Bear Act. Thank you, students. Bye-bye. Good night.
Recording stopped.
ठीक है संकेत जी.